I'd like to call the meeting to order. It is 6:31. Additions. What do we have?
So we're recruiting for the DRB and Planning Commission members.
Yep.
I posted on Front Porch Forum as well.
Yep.
But we need them ASAP. We took off the EMFD agenda item. There's not enough time on the agenda tonight. And we need a decision on mailing ballots for the town meeting.
Okay. So the addition of the DRB Planning Commission, we've already put an ad out. So
Yeah.
we don't really need to discuss them. They're down one member. There's supposed to be 9 members in each one, and there are only 8. So they need, we should have been notified by the chair of the planning commission, but did not happen. And they've been without the full 9 members for a while. And the same with the DRB. They've both been down for a while. And that was supposed to be communicated to us, but it was not. So we've got to advertise. We're supposed to have advertised a while ago, actually. Correct that. But thank you. And the mailing ballots, we'll just cover that later on the town meeting ballots. Okay, review of minutes, December 2nd, 2024.
Motion to accept the minutes?
Second.
Any further discussion?
Yes.
We have some.
As I said before, I'd like the votes to be recorded, not just the motion passed. And I believe that every one of the votes passed unanimously last time.
Okay, bear with me, it was my first time
Yep.
doing it in a while, so I wasn't aware that that was something you wanted.
Yeah, that was when someone else was a minutes taker that I mentioned that. So thank you.
Anything else, Carl?
That was all I saw. Oh, yeah, looked good.
Okay.
Nice to have you stepping in and doing it, Rosie. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Rosie. It's been tough on everyone that's tried it. Hopefully it'll work for you. So all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Ayes appear to have it, they do have it. I'm not hearing Zoe. Is she?
She just.
Sorry,
unmuted.
I was trying to unmute myself and I didn't unmute myself fast enough, but
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Well, that was close. Thank goodness you
Yeah.
came in.
Okay. Public comment. We've got people here. But I don't believe, I mean, you're members of the public, but you're not on comment. Is that correct? Just one thing is, did everyone sign in?
Yes, I have.
They're your groupies. They're here to see you.
Oh, thank you.
I got them.
You got it, perfect. Okay, so 6:35, the voted articles funding request presentations. Yes. So do we have a member here from the funding request committee? No.
These are the other ones. These are the ones that go directly on the ballot.
This isn't, okay, right. So that's a little misleading. But these are the ones we vote separately. So the first one is Central Vermont Home Health and Hospice by Sandy Roos. We're usually here.
Yes.
There we go.
Could I have a point of order? Could we have up on the screen there a better view of the other people who are participating? We in the room here can see each other just fine by looking around the table.
So you want to see who the people are that are up there?
Yeah.
Same here.
Yeah. Very nice, thank you.
Pass it around.
Thank you.
Thank you. One for you, sir. I don't have it.
Evening.
Good
Good
evening.
evening.
Good to see you again.
You too.
Great to see you.
Likewise.
Usually when I come, it's.
Thank you for coming in, by the way.
Extremely cold, so tonight it's a little more mild, winter nonetheless.
It's
but
gonna be cold this next week.
anyways, So I'm Sandy Roos, President and CEO of Central Vermont Home Health. I think I know or have seen everybody here before. And I'm just going to quickly go through the slide deck, and please feel free to ask questions as we go on. First of all, our mission, I think you're pretty familiar with our work and really focused on our home health and hospice programs. And we have other programs such as long-term care services and family and child health. And the long-term care services are non-medically necessary, but they're really the services that keep the individuals in their home independent for as long as they possibly can. And not needing to go to a facility, or sometimes they do, depending on what their situation is. So, but our goal is to keep them at home as long as possible. A little bit about the numbers and a patient who actually had some things to say about us. She lives in East Montpelier and is currently on our home health program. A little bit about our 2024 numbers for East Montpelier. We tend to fluctuate a little bit between 65 and 75. I'm doing the history. It's sometimes been a little higher in the 80s, but it's usually 65, 75. With a total of 1,300 visits, and across our whole service area, which is all of Washington County and 3 towns in Orange County, Washington, Williamstown, and Orange. We serve about 2,700 patients a year. And on any given day, we have about 600 patients on service. And then our staff travel quite a few miles. And so we do use telehealth as well in our service and practice, pretty much for those individuals that are high risk for hospitalization. And that is something we've been doing since 2007, and it isn't reimbursed by Medicare. It is for physicians and and just a little note about the services specifically to East Montpelier. Since 2021, the long-term care services that we provide to your residents has increased about 17%. And our hospice services, and this went back a little bit from 2018, has increased about 18%. And then our palliative care services, we talked a little bit about it last year because it was a new service line. And even though it's small numbers, it did increase by 33%. So it's a new service, and actually overall in the organization, it increased by like 75%. So I'm really excited about that. And spend a little bit more time talking about our palliative care consultative services, and really lots of focus on hospice and palliative care of late. Certainly we're focused on individuals that are living with serious illness, and we collaborate with their healthcare team. So our goal is to really have our nurse practitioner work with their primary care physician, the specialist, if they have a therapist in the community, a social worker. Sometimes it's a church group that, and really to make sure the individuals have wraparound services for what they need when they need it as they're going through an illness, a life-limiting illness. And a lot of focus of our nurse practitioner is really pain symptom management, meeting people where they're at in their home. Lots of times what we find in our worlds of healthcare is individuals end up in the hospital. And under crisis, they're now trying to determine goals of care, advanced care planning. There's just a lot happening. And really, when people are meeting with someone at home, it really gives them the ability to really think through, geez, do I want my spouse or my partner doing all my personal care? What do I really want if something were to happen and I needed to be taken care of? So it's an opportunity for that. And ultimately, our focus is and really understand their disease progression so they can plan timely for what may need to happen. They may need to go into a facility if they have something like Parkinson's disease and all of that. But sometimes it's about planning for what they need in their future. And the nice thing about this service too is it's a standalone service. You don't have to be on any other program, and you don't have to be homebound or any of those other things. So it's a really great opportunity. The focus is really on those individuals with complex care needs, once again, serious life-limiting illnesses, multiple chronic conditions, and really looking at what they're doing with their health care and their care, and not wanting to go back and forth to the hospital lots of times. But really, a lot of it is focused on planning with the individual and with their family members. So inevitably, a lot of our work too is collaborating with our community partners. One of our board members, even though it's not in this area, he's a business owner, he's an active resident of Mad River Valley. Our board are all members that live in the service area that we serve. There might be a couple that live outside of that work in this area, so they're really familiar with the counties that we serve and the towns that we serve and what's important to them. And then we also do a lot of outreach and education, presenting at libraries, certainly at facilities, whether it's skilled nursing facilities or assisted living facilities, and really talking about our services and help families prepare for when there may need to be other things. And I know one of the things is when we had the recent flood in Plainfield, and we had some patients that we actually couldn't get to, so we partnered with your EMS team. We call them, that's part of our emergency planning, and they, you know, especially if they were hospice patients. So if we needed to get to them in the middle of the night, we had a whole plan with ATVs and all that. So we're really well supported by your team. History of our partnership, and I know you all have been very supportive of our work, as well as the voters of your town have been significantly supportive of us. And inevitably, we talked a little bit about our palliative care visits. We only had 9 visits here this last year. Prior year was 6 visits, but it's a new program and it's growing. So certainly what we want to do is really capture individuals before they end up in the hospital in a crisis situation. So we're really trying to find different places, but maybe the senior center where we do a presentation and talk about advanced care planning, you know, completing an advanced directive, goals of care, just really understanding, because palliative care isn't hospice. It's really just helping you prepare and get through times where you may be receiving chemotherapy and it's a really tough time, and connecting you with resources in the community so you have what you need to stay at home. And then lastly, why town funds? Certainly we are able to provide critical healthcare services from pre-birth with our family and child health program to end of life with hospice. And we still suffer continuously with workforce shortages. We do have traveling clinicians, primarily on our home health team. That's our largest program. It is very expensive and not sure when it's gonna go away, but just seems like when you hire enough people permanently, then others leave. So it's kind of this circular thing. And then also our Medicare reimbursement, we talked about this for several years, but from 2009 to 2018, they reduced our rates by 42%. And the last 4 years, they did an additional 4% cut. So inevitably, as a business, your expenses go up. Ours are primarily salaries and benefits for individuals versus facilities and all that stuff. So, and then for Medicaid pays 40 cents on the dollar for our services. And that's with increases we've gotten over the last couple of years, so.
How much you asking from the town?
6,500.
Was that?
6,500, and it's
Okay.
the same as last year.
Yep. Now, last year, I remember we talked about you were going to be short. I mean, you budget.
Yeah, we
Appropriate.
budget operating losses.
Yeah. How much?
And this past year was a little over 2 million.
2 million?
Yep.
You were
So-
negative?
Yes. Yeah,
So now what?
So we raise money. We actually have an investment portfolio that we fund our operations with. And that's what we do.
Okay, you're $2 million short. I don't see, you get a lot of fundraising to come up with $2 million.
Yeah, we do. And like I said, we have an investment portfolio.
So you have an
we fund-
endowment, you have an endowment.
Yeah, well, it's not, it's.
Well, you're not trying to
for certain
spend
things.
that lump sum of, you're trying to spend the interest or
Right,
something.
we're trying to spend the interest, and we can also move money if we need to. So
Oh.
that's what we do.
You move
Yeah.
money.
And
Okay,
we're kind of, floating in a place where there are significant cuts with Medicare.
right,
It's probably gonna exist for the next 3 years or so. So it'll probably be about a total of 5 years until Medicare realizes that organizations are closing and patient access is gonna be impacted. So
Ah,
we're fortunate, like we don't have a mortgage on our building, so there are a lot of things that we don't have that other organizations have. We've always been fairly administratively lean. So
Yeah.
like I was a hospice manager for a while with an RN consultant, so we just fill in where we have to.
okay.
Yeah.
Well, you're certainly optimistic, considering you're running at a loss, but whatever.
It's not, I mean, the whole BNA system is, it's been going on for quite a while.
Yeah,
The state is
remember we talked about
fairly
last year.
familiar.
Yeah.
Yeah, the state is fairly familiar with it. We did have one BNA in up north close, but another BNA actually took over their territory. So
Anything else to
maybe consolidation in
Was
the
it want
future.
you to sign in?
Yeah,
So,
probably not enough service either. I mean, when you consolidate,
yeah,
things fall by the wayside.
right. We hope not. We are trying to do the best we can. That's why we need travelers. We have to,
So the traveling nurses or whatever you
Uh-huh.
use, they're expensive.
they're very expensive.
I mean, they're like
actually
3
less
times.
expensive than they were before.
Oh, they're less
during
expensive?
COVID. but
Yeah, so that cost
definitely-
has gone down a little bit.
Yeah,
but-
they're probably about twice of what it
Twice?
costs for a permanent employee.
Oh, okay, yeah, it was like 3 times.
Yeah, during COVID it was very
And
high.
you don't really know when you can stop doing that.
We don't, we have to, if we didn't have them, we wouldn't be able
Yeah.
to provide access.
Right.
So,
Ah.
Yeah.
All right. Yes, sir.
question?
Yeah, and in healthcare in general and with the turnover in your employees that you're talking about, ongoing training is quite important. Can you tell us about the training program you have for your staff?
Sure, absolutely. We do regular in-servicing for the staff. We have multiple different disciplines that do the training internally. Some staff we send off for certifications. It really depends. We do raise donor dollars for some of the education as well. And currently we're looking to put together an LNA program where we can have individuals come to the agency to work. We'll pay for them to get their LNA or while they're getting their LNA and then work for us for a period of time. So, so there's quite a bit of education. We have a nurse educator. Our managers are therapists or nurses and, so some of the managers participate in it as well.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
we have a dummy that we call Mrs. Doubtfire. The hospital bed and all that stuff, so we have a training room.
Any more questions for Sam? Oh, there's people on there. Are they gonna ask you questions? I don't see any hands up. Okay. I think they're probably presenters on various items. The people that are on there. I don't think they're on there for questions. That's what,
You want to sign in.
okay,
Great, thank you so much.
thank you. Thank you for coming in.
Thanks for
And thank you for all the work you do.
Yes.
Yeah, appreciate it. So our next one is Montpelier Senior Activity Center, Matt Wilson. Matt Wilson? It's up there.
Hello,
Where's- Oh,
Hi.
hello.
we're on Zoom.
We're on Zoom. So,
Oh, okay,
so I'm Amy Pitton. I am the director of the Montpelier Senior Activity Center. Matt is our communications and development person, and we are presenting together tonight. I have been at the senior center for a little less than a year. I started at the beginning of February last year. And so I'm just getting my feet wet. Matt has a few more of the answers than I do, maybe. So we thought we'd both come tonight and for this presentation. So, and I believe you have a slides that you can project. Is that correct?
There's a handout.
oh,
We have a handout.
okay, we have a hand up.
Oh, you have a handout.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
I see that, so.
Yeah.
All right. Now I just need to have it in front of me.
Yeah, will we need to share our slides on the screen there, or do we just follow along?
Where are the slides?
He's asking whether
It's the
we
same ones.
want them to
Yeah.
share the slides on
It's the
screen.
same ones
Sure.
you have in your hand.
Oh, we've got the same thing here, so we're okay.
You just-
Does anybody else want this slide?
Maybe other people watching might want them. No.
I don't know if anybody's watching, but yeah, it's whatever you want to do, it's fine with us. Because we
Okay.
do have your handout here.
Okay,
Yeah, but Kyle says maybe some other people will be interested in seeing the slides.
Yeah.
There's other people in the room, but if you can just put, where would you put them?
They have them on their computer and if we
Yeah.
give them permission to share their screen.
Yeah, go ahead, share the screen.
okay.
Yeah,
I'm sending a request to you. So.
All right.
Whoever is controlling the Zoom. Okay.
Yep.
Said yes to the request then? Yeah.
Here we are.
yep,
Okay,
And can everybody see that?
oh, yes,
Great.
all right.
yeah,
Go ahead. So I know many of you have probably, are probably very familiar with the Montpelier Senior Activity Center, but just to review a few facts, we call ourselves MSAC. MSAC is a place for lifelong learning, healthy aging, socialization, nutritious community meals, and access to resources on aging in our region. And we serve the city of Montpelier as well as surrounding towns. In addition to East Montpelier, other supporting towns include Berlin, Calais, Middlesex, Moortown, and Worcester. And our membership also includes residents of Barry, Northfield, Plainfield, Marshfield, and other central Vermont towns. We actually have members from 21 towns here at MSAC. And our senior center provides a community for retirees, working older adults, and adults in need of socialization and connection. So we offer lots of programming here at the Senior Center. We offer 11 free drop-in groups each week, and those things include coffee and conversations, games of mahjong, trash tramps, and a ukulele group, among others. We also, this coming winter session, we're going to be offering 43 affordable weekly classes on a wide variety of subjects. Everything from learning Spanish to watercolor to exercise classes that are included in that 43. Services such as AARP's free tax clinic, as well as the low-cost foot clinic, are open to all seniors in central Vermont. And it is our commitment to provide services for all older adults in our region, whether they are a dues-paying member or not. So here are some of the classes that we offer. We offer programming for seniors age 50 and up. The picture on this slide is a picture of one of our Bone Builders classes. Bone Builders is our most popular class that we offer. We offer four instructors who offer both hybrid and in-person classes every week. And then we offer classes in the arts, humanities, fitness, active living, and wellness. The way we decide on our classes is we listen to our members to ensure that they have the things that they want, things that are healthy, relevant, and enjoyable for them. So a cornerstone of healthy aging is staying engaged and building new neural pathways for a sharper mind. And so we work hard here to foster creativity and expression through the arts and humanities programs such as creative writing, poetry, film discussion, painting, craft making, and more. And then beyond classes, we offer weekly tabletop game groups, we host art shows and community events, and we have a library of both books and puzzles that are available to the public. We have a senior meals program here at MSAC that provides healthy catered meals to our members. That feast program, it's our Meals on Wheels program. We are aware that this is not something that East Montpelier benefits from. You have your own Meals on Wheels program in East Montpelier. However, our resource, we do serve the wider community. Folks from East Montpelier are certainly welcome to come to our Tuesday congregate lunch, which is free for those over 60. And then beyond the meals, we offer access to nutritional guidance and support through our partnerships with CVCOA, the Council on Aging, and DALE, the Department of Disabilities, Aging, and Independent Living. And we also host special events like our Thanksgiving meal, which you can see in the picture there. So what makes MSAC stand out are the connections that are made among our membership and our community partners. We have a staff that works directly with members and volunteers every day, doing things from registering to classes, to sharing meals, to having conversations, to tech help, all kinds of stuff like that. And then we actually have partnerships that extend beyond the senior community. Our Feast program hosts volunteers from Montpelier High School, and the students are going to work in a commercial kitchen setting with staff and volunteer seniors, and that promotes career building and connection, the career building on the kids' side and connection on our senior side. It's a wonderful program. We also offer trips to our seniors. We do trips, a lot of short distance trips in Vermont, New Hampshire. We've been to the Museum of Fine Arts in Boston within the last year. We have a 12-passenger van, which provides opportunity to travel near and far. This summer, we did weekly creamy runs so that seniors could get a creamy if they wanted to. And then we go to museums and shops and outdoor activities. And our van is handicap accessible, and we make sure that the places we go are handicap accessible for seniors of all mobility levels. So Senior Center is a place for healthy aging. We provide opportunities for healthy aging through community lunches, engaging health and wellness courses, and speaking events from local health professionals such as the Alzheimer's Association and UVM. We're also a hub of resources, and we help connect seniors to organizations such as the Council on Aging, the Seniors, I can't remember what SASH stands for.
Support services.
Support and Services at Home, there we go. CVMC, All Brains Belong, the Vermont Alzheimer's Association, and others in the greater Montpelier area. So we want to thank you for the support that you have shown this MSAC in the past years, and we hope that you will be able to do that again. We're asking for a level funded amount to last year of $9,700, and we're happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Okay. Questions? I don't have any questions either.
You've done a good job.
You offer a lot of great things. Glad you're still here.
Thank you. So are we.
Kyle's got a question.
A lot of organizations, the senior center included, have had trouble getting participation rates back up since COVID. And I'm wondering how things are new at the Senior Activity Center.
So that is also true for us, but we are showing modest increases now. So it's people are starting to remember what it's like to be involved in things, so and to get out.
Are you back to the pre-COVID levels of participation now?
No, we're not back at pre-COVID, but we're headed there.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Huh. Anybody have anything else? No questions?
No.
Beautiful. All right, well, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right, so the next one on our list is Green Mountain Transit. Monica White. Oh. Are you Monica White?
I am.
Oh,
Yes.
okay.
Nice.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Is there an L at the end of your first name?
There is not.
Okay, that's what I was thinking. There's an L here, though.
Actually, that's the.
Is it
first-
comical, or what? I was thinking is a play on comical? I don't know.
No, although that is the first initial of my middle name, so.
Ah,
I wanted to
okay.
play that out.
So,
We could
okay.
go with that, so.
Oh, okay.
Well, thank you for the opportunity to be here tonight. I think I did send a report, which uses kind of a high-level
Yeah.
overview and walkthrough. You have copies of that.
Yeah.
So in terms of, Green Mountain Transit, in terms of who we are and what we do, Green Mountain Transit, GMT, is the public transportation provider for the Northwest and Central regions of Vermont. We offer a variety of services to the communities we serve, including traditional services like commuter routes, fixed routes, and demand response shuttles, as well as individualized services like shopping and healthcare shuttles, non-emergency medical transportation, services for our neighbors who are older and or disabled in this community. Our mission is to promote and operate safe, convenient, accessible, innovative, and sustainable public transportation services that reduce congestion and pollution, encourage transit-oriented development, and enhance quality of life for all. So drilling down a little bit, in addition to the buses that you see on the road, wanted to really highlight the individual special service transportation, which is a pretty significant part of what we do in terms of connecting our community members to services and increasing independence and integration. So some of those services, as I mentioned, include services for transportation for our neighbors to access non-emergency medical care and other visits such as social and personal visits. So things for, again, neighbors who may be older and or disabled, and really working to support people to get where they need to go through a number of options. So in the rural areas, that's primarily operated by our volunteer, our network of volunteer drivers, and in other methods too. So again, medical treatment, meal sites, the Vermont Association of the Blind and Visually Impaired, Reach Up, substance use treatment, helping folks to access prescriptions and shopping, grocery shopping, social and daily services, haircuts, social and personal visits, substance use disorder clinic, and partnering for employment supports. So at a really high level, transportation is really a linchpin for people to live happy and healthy lives, and we're committed to helping our neighbors get to where they want and need to be. In addition to those individual special service transportation, we operate a significant fixed route and commuter route service, including shopping shuttles, seasonal service, dedicated healthcare shuttles, including we operate Plainfield Health has a shuttle, and that serves some East Montpelier residents, including so the Plainfield Health Center. And we also operate, I see Denise up there, or at least I thought I did. Oh, I did. Hi, Denise. We also operate a designated shuttle for the Twin Valley Senior Center as one of our shuttles, and our commuter service into and out of Washington County to Caledonia via the US 2 commuter, and to Chittenden County via the link from Montpelier to Burlington. And our total ridership for the fixed route, commuter routes, et cetera, was over 344,000 on those. And that's in addition to the thousands and thousands that we serve through individual rides for folks who are not on a fixed route service. So, and that's just the central Vermont area. That's not counting any of our GMT service in either Chittenden or Franklin Grand Isle counties. So that's just what we operate here out of Washington County and several towns in Orange County. Moving on to the next page, I did mention briefly our volunteer driver program. We are very fortunate to have a network of dedicated volunteer drivers to help provide coordinated and caring rides throughout our rural service area for folks who are not on the fixed route service. East Montpelier had 211 ride requests through a volunteer service in state fiscal 24, our most recent completed state fiscal year. And volunteer drivers are really essential in providing cost-effective and community-driven services. We reimburse per mile driven and reimburse at the IRS rate for mile driven, which is significantly less than operating any of the bus service. And so the reimburse for that, and also with many effusive thanks. And we're always recruiting and grateful to welcome new volunteers to our team. Very rewarding. And very, very much appreciated. We very much appreciate the support historically from East Montpelier and from East Montpelier taxpayers and select board and officials. My contact information is here. At any point in time, any questions or concerns, anyone is welcome to reach out. And I did mention in terms of the ridership for our special transportation services, 211 rides were requested by East Montpelier residents last state fiscal year. And we partner with Rural Community Transportation. Caleb Grant, who's here and on the agenda for later, will speak about his organization's work and on the US2 commuter run, which will be year 15, if I can do the math correctly, on a Monday night of the US2 commuter service from St. Johnsbury through to Montpelier with further connecting service there. With that, I think I'll pause and just again, thank you for the opportunity to be here tonight, recognizing you have a lot of work ahead of you, wanting to just pause there. If you have any questions for me.
So just to clarify, you're asking for the $1,499.
Correct.
But that is specifically for rides to individuals. This is not for the commuter bus service.
It is.
That's RCT.
I'm sorry.
Isn't that with RCT?
So RCT also requests a portion of the funding for the US2 commuter route, and GMT also has historically. So I'm new to GMT this year as of March. My understanding is that historically the funding for the US2 commuter was originally 100% to Green Mountain Transit when because GMT was the sole provider of the US2 commuter when it began 15 years ago. And about a handful of years ago, RCT came in to operate part of the US2 commuter, and actually right now they operate most of the runs. So the amount for the local contribution when RCT came in was bifurcated to some of it to go to Green Mountain Transit and some of it to go to rural community transportation.
Yeah, but this is always confusing for voters. It's like, wait a minute, you've got two articles on here to do with bus service. And I've always explained it was the bus service that you were coming in to ask money for is specifically for the rides for individuals. It's not for that bus service that goes to St. Johnsbury, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, you are blended with RCT, but that's a different ask. That's different, a pool money. The pool money you're asking for right now is more specific for individual rides. I believe.
That would be accurate for what we have provided.
Yeah, I mean, the $1,499. I mean, the money that you've always asked for the commuter bus service for the RCT is significantly more than $1,499.
I think 8,333.
Yeah, right, exactly. Right, and that's been consistently every year. But what you're talking about right now are the individual rides that go from individuals in the town to doctor's appointments, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Yes.
That's what you're doing right now.
That and
we got to keep that clear because we always get the questions down here, always.
yes, and so GMT also had previously operated one of the US2 runs, and that was paused or suspended due to staffing considerations.
Okay.
I believe it was before I came on board, we're
Yeah.
poised in early 2025 to be restoring that midday service. And so the amount requested from this town will be part and parcel of the local match obligations for GMT operations, to include that one run, as well as the individual rides that we provide, if that's helpful. So we had paused, we suspended the service, and we're bringing it back, but we're not requesting to increase our appropriation.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, wasn't this usually in the funding request, the one that's capped at 25,000? Wasn't this 1499 in there?
Usually.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So now it's moved out as a separate,
Is that something the funding request committee said?
I don't know, but I know that this is gonna be confusing.
I think
To voters.
what may have occurred is that because Jen is new,
Yeah,
that when she
Jen,
sent the,
the town administrator sitting next to you?
yes.
Okay.
That, when she sent the emails out to people,
Yeah,
there were specific people that are always invited
yeah,
every year to come, and I think that she wasn't aware that the other section that's
The-
normally the separate
yes, But that's vetted.
appropriation. So is the separate appropriation still going to GMTA or is it going to RCT?
no, well, wait a minute, is she included in those
Yeah,
25 or 31?
is she in the
Yeah,
spreadsheet for the,
in the
Bucket.
bucket of requests
Yes.
that they vet. that
According to this, no, this is.
No, I know that, but this is a new,
Was it
because
they missed the deadline or something? Well, there's also a limit, there's also the $30,000 limit.
you know, it's 25.
25,000.
And they may have kicked her out, but I don't think so. They may have, I don't have the list in front of me, I don't think any of us do, of the various organizations that are included in that.
Well, but maybe there was already 25,000.
Well, whatever, it's okay, but I can tell you right now that there is a little confusion.
And I apologize. I
No, that's
did
okay. It's not
submit,
your- it's not your
the-
fault.
This
Yeah.
They're gonna vote for it
study
anyway.
committee, and I wasn't aware that.
No,
there
no,
was gonna be-
I'm glad you came in, and we're happy with what you're doing. But I think there's a little confusion on the order of the voted articles. Because usually you're in a big group that we vote on mass. We don't do it separately. We do the one for the bus, RCT, GMT bus service, we do that separately, because it's a lot of money. But you're usually included in a big 31 different organizations that are under one article.
Okay, I see.
So you're not usually, you don't usually come in to see us. You would go in to see the funding request committee, because
Oh,
they vet the smaller requests and they put them all in one article.
got it.
So, but I'm not sure what they did.
I appreciate the opportunity to meet you.
So
anyway.
we will make sure that you're on, well, we still need to vote on the voted articles, but we now have information from
There
you.
is the.
They're included in the larger.
Yes.
Of all the.
That's what I
Oh,
thought.
they are, okay.
appropriations. It
They
was-
always have it.
RCT was the one that got bumped off,
Well, RCT,
and they normally,
They normally.
no, they're normally not in there,
no,
the 9,000,
they've normally been considered GMT
yes,
/ RCT.
right,
So there's a
Exactly.
little confusion with.
there is,
Yeah.
right, but, so Monica's ask is normally in the big group, and she still is. Is that correct? They didn't bump her off. She's still in the large group of,
RCT is in the larger group, there isn't a second GMT. That's what I said.
RCT is a separate article,
Correct,
right? GMT on the 1499,
is still in the smaller.
it's in the group that's under 25,000. No,
It is.
it's separate.
Mhm.
It's a voted article with 31 others or 30 others,
Yes,
right? So normally she would not come in to ask us. She
right,
would go to the
Right.
committee.
Right.
Right.
Which means next year you probably don't have to come in on Monday night.
We're just leaving it at
Okay,
that.
You should
it's
go to
just
the
that
committee.
someone got confused, that's all.
No worries.
I don't mean to confuse you,
That's fine.
but anyway, thank you.
Okay.
Because I know that this is a question that gets asked every single year. One of the articles that we vote on is RCT, GMT, bus service commuter bus service, and it's a fairly large amount of money, so it's a standalone article. So everyone always asks us, well, why do we have another article in the large group that has to do with bus service? Yes,
So in the 2023 town report, Article 13 is, shall the town raise a sum of 7,834 for the support of RCT? And then Article 14 is, shall the town raise a sum of $14.99 as a Green Mountain transportation portion of
That's what we
the Route 2
Last
commuter
year,
service. This is the Route 2 commuter service,
Okay.
$14.99.
so this
That we
is,
voted
this
on
is,
last year.
this is separate?
And Green Mountain Transit had 1366 in the town
Yeah,
funding request study committees.
so she's right, and she should be separate.
So what I'm seeing here is that
Three.
GMT had 2 postings.
Yeah.
This last time,
Right.
Yeah.
Two separate,
2 separate ones plus RCT.
right?
Yeah.
Well,
So
one of them,
so the
no,
$14.99 was for the GMT
Right.
share of the Route 2 commuter.
yeah,
And then the other amount, the lesser amount, was for what you're talking about, the individual rides.
okay, so that's the 1,300 something, it's in the, it's in the big group,
Yeah,
okay,
so.
so you're correct, no,
So-
she's correct,
So we need to, make sure that both of those
yeah,
come along with it.
I know, me
Yeah.
too.
So are you also requesting some funds for the Route 2 commuter service?
So the amount that we're requesting this year is the $14.99.
Yeah,
And what's that for?
And that is for the GMT portion of the Route 2 commuter service, and the overview that I provided you is also including the all of the other.
yeah, but see, that's
Okay.
confusing them.
And we're hearing from Rosie that the spreadsheet from this funding request committee includes how much for, GMT?
Bring it back up.
Well, it's 13 some last year, but.
Right.
what
No,
it is this year.
they went up this time, so.
Oh,
So the $14.99 was all that GMT was
no.
intending to request, and so
Okay.
if it's through the article or through the funding
Yeah.
and study
Right.
committee,
Okay,
either.
so there's only one request for
Correct.
$14.99.
Yes.
and there's
So
nothing,
it is on the funding study committee.
okay, so that's,
Spreadsheet as an increased appropriation request from last year.
yeah, okay. So everything is in order, I think. It's just that we have a confusing process.
well, no, we
For
don't,
GMT.
we don't have an individual ask
Right,
for the individual to get transport.
right.
We
That's
don't
what-
have that in,
That's what's happening.
it's all melded with the
So we have the
14.99,
$14.99 and that's it.
that's it.
Well,
And
She's saying there's no separate article in there in the big funding request. Oh, there is.
I'm interpreting that as one of the things that the funding request committee is looking at is from GMT.
that's what I see here.
Okay,
And
and
how
then
much
that
is
would be
that?
for the individual.
How much is that, Rose?
$14.99, which would be up from $13.66 last year.
Yeah, but it's the same thing.
Just because it's the same number, it can be for 2 different
It's two
services. It'd be
Oh, there's two 14.99?
a total of $2,998.
I don't think so.
So, no, so that was.
No, there's only one.
So this, this is like a who's on first.
Yeah.
So I apologize, the amount that was requested, so this is probably because I'm also new to this process
Yeah.
this year and was attempting to, new this year and attempting to follow the process that we followed last year, was requesting the $14.99 as the amount from East Montpelier, and so.
Total,
because The total amount for East Montpelier for this year, and it submitted it through what I had thought was the process through the funding request study committee. And I thought that it was one
Yeah.
and the same based on information that I was given,
Yeah.
so anyways, I apologize for all of the
So I
confusion.
think that's in the big, in
Okay,
the 30.
so
Is that,
there's only one
14.99, there's no 13.
there's only one act, right?
Right.
So given that we have a new person from GMT,
Right,
and our process is a little bit obscure, then we could possibly cut them some slack as a select board. And, basically duplicate what we did last year for the warning, right? If we wanted to.
oh, we could put her in there, you're saying? She's already included?
She's she's already in the funding request
Yeah,
committee.
committee, right.
And we could have something parallel to our Article 14 from last year. So we could say the
Why, give her
funding,
more money? Or
give
just,
them as
oh,
much as we did last year, basically.
well, why would we do that? So we asked for $14.99.
Because they're performing the same service.
Oh, I don't know, we'll think about that. But we want to waste our time.
All right, well, I appreciate your graciousness and.
Yeah, he's trying to double your ask.
Which I appreciate.
I don't know why. He's being very nice. Why?
They
I understand.
provide the services and they're
Yeah.
performing cutbacks
Well,
on
we'll
their
just
services
figure it
because of funding.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
Help them out.
Thank you for
your
coming in,
work.
and sorry for being confusing and confused.
That's all right, most municipalities have their honest
Oh, my
findings,
God,
so.
she is throwing us under the bus.
No, I can't do that, that involves way too much paperwork.
Alright.
Thank you.
Well, I'm glad we had this discussion.
Good answer, yes.
We lost it. Hit the button.
Any more questions
Don't run them
before
over.
she bolts out of the room?
Nice
No.
water bottle.
Alright, perfect. So it's Monica. Monica L. She was calm. Oh, so the next item of discussion is the East Montpelier Trails with Richard Brock, who is here. Please step up to the plate.
Thank you.
All right.
Regarding the suggestion, Brock, I think I know you all. And I think you are all familiar with East Montpelier Trails operation.
That's right.
So in the interest of the Shakespearean observation that brevity is the soul of wit,
I like that.
I might skip the description
That's very
I
good.
like this guy a lot.
and say we are level funded.
Yeah.
You have, I believe, Mary Stone's requesting letter and a really rough and unreconciled financial statement,
I see it.
which follows a model which your wonderful auditor Deb Fillion had me set up some years ago and appears in the 2023 annual report. Basically, we spend the $4,000 that the voters have, I think, enthusiastically given us for 4 prior years on routine maintenance. We started mowing when ticks became a problem. We never did that before, but we do it now. And we find it's more efficient to have some hand tools so that people can do the trail maintenance, volunteer trail maintenance with tools that are efficient. And we had a new expense this year. We decided to buy some hats that say East Montpelier Trails Trail Steward, which we give to those volunteers who agree to keep an eye on particular trails. I don't get one of those hats because I'm not a trail steward. So, yeah, anyway,
You're losing your brevity.
that's right. Having said that, Mr. Hess's observation leads me to, if there are any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. I think I can.
You are an asset. You guys are an asset to our town.
So let's see, how did the project come along that we gave you money for the bridge?
$10,000 ARPA.
Yes, how'd that come
It
along?
has not yet happened. It is still in the bank. Josh Ryan wasn't able to get to it, and we have some access issues. But it will happen, and if it doesn't happen, we'll use it to rebuild the boardwalk on the Sparrow Farm Trail, which runs close enough to board member Etnier's house so that we have to have it in good shape. But it's currently rotting.
But you've thought about moving that up the hill.
The current proposal is to leave it in place
Oh, it
and to make
Just to fix
more
it.
solid construction.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
More permanent construction.
Yeah, we were talking about moving the fence. Whatever. And I have cows in there, so I was interested. in
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Some of us live close by and want to walk. We don't really care about the cows. We care
Well, you
about
would care
trails.
about the cows if you got.
Heifers that don't need to be built.
Right, they're not milking cows, but sometimes you don't want to be in there with them. So that was my concern, fence.
So what's the request?
$4,000.
Yeah, same question.
Yeah, okay.
But, so where was that bridge? Just refresh my memory that you were thinking that you were gonna build.
The Mallory Brook Trail runs up an old logging road
Yeah.
from Cherry Tree Hill
Cherry
Road
Tree, yeah.
through the Pratt family forest and
right.
Johnson Road.
Yes,
And the Mallory Brook is more or less in the middle of it. There was a bridge.
yeah,
It washed out in Irene
right,
and it has not been replaced. It needs
Yeah.
to be higher. It needs to be more quote resilient. quote.
Yeah. And what's the access issue that you have that you can't fix?
Well, as you know, there's been some discussion up there about who gets to go where, Johnson Road. And
Oh, yeah.
that would be the most convenient access and,
Access to fix it?
yeah, bringing in materials.
Right, yeah.
We're gonna make, it's not gonna be a wooden bridge, I think. It's gonna be a metal bridge, and so it'll be brought in large sections.
So you go down that class 4 road to get to it? I mean, it's class 3, that's class 4.
It's class 4, I think, and then it might even, then if you go in that way, there's a long steep
Yeah,
grade. If
Yeah.
you come in the other way
right.
from Cherry Tree Hill, it's a long way,
It's a long way, yeah. All right,
but we'll get it done.
yeah, okay. Any more questions for Mr. Bob? He's fairly brief, we call it brevity. Scott has his.
He was, he was,
With a little help from my
Scott
friends.
has seen one.
he was almost gonna cross the line as brevity.
Oh, yeah. Can he answer questions or is that against your?
You're the chair. I'm just trying to hold it to the man's word.
No, I just want to make sure that we have anything answered.
That brevity of the soul of wit quote is from a long rambling speech by Polonius in Hamlet, in which he undercuts the point of it.
Are we still talking about
But the point is valid.
Yeah, the point
The
is
point is
valid.
Another 2 seconds, I'm gonna vote against this.
Mr. Hess tends to be kind of impatient, and you like to circumvent the democratic process.
No,
I do not.
I like efficiency.
All right, anything else? All right, thank you for coming in. And thank you all
Thank you for
for
your time.
Thank you to the select for your continued support.
Thank you. Thank you,
So,
thank the town.
I hope somebody's not looking for new glasses.
They've been there for weeks.
I wondered if you were here this morning, but I came here at 7:30.
They've been there for weeks.
Are those just set out for guests?
They're readers, they're just
Yeah.
sitting there.
Yeah,
Yeah, but there's somebody's, I'm like, that's weird.
well, there's also that Fresno lens, did we put that out there?
Oh, that's, I had somebody helping, I was helping somebody with that.
Yeah.
That's- needs to be put away.
That's a good thing to have for guests.
Okay.
I do.
The next thing on our agenda is Twin Valley Seniors Denise Wheeler.
Greetings all.
Denise,
Hi.
Hey, how are you? Good to see you all. And
Hi.
I have brought along with me Gary Smith, who is our fairly new treasurer. Sadly, our former treasurer died in May, and Gary stepped up to the plate and is doing a fantastic job. Gary lives in Plainfield, right, Gary? You got to turn your mic on. Anyways, so I sent you all a packet of information with some statistics. Our budget, we are asking for an increase this year, which we haven't done in probably at least 3 years, I'm thinking. We haven't asked for an increase, maybe 4. As you all know and have probably experienced yourself, everything has gone up. Groceries, utilities, fuel oil, trash pickup, snow plowing, everything has gone up. And we are, as you know, a very small organization. We're not big like EMSAC. And we do our best to really maintain and control our budget, but our meal costs have risen significantly. And that is the biggest piece of our budget as far as being able to provide nutritious meals. We are required by Central Vermont Council on Aging to meet a specific guideline of nutrition requirements for every meal. And we have over the years, as you might have noticed, thank you for your ARPA money for our parking lot being paved. That covered the biggest share of it, so that was really wonderful. Thank you. And everybody's loving having no potholes to ruin their tires on. We provide a variety of services. We do not charge and do not want to charge a membership fee as most other senior centers do. We have people that come from Montpelier, Barry, Berlin, all around to attend our classes. We have zero balancing, which is a new venture. And we have Tai Chi, bone builders, we have Mahjong, puzzles, all kinds of things like that for folks to do when they come. But our biggest goal is to serve the seniors at home with providing them with nutritious meals. And it's come to light that seniors that receive nutritious meals, it helps their brain function. And our drivers, who are amazing folks, they drive through roads that have been washed out and flooded, snowstorms, everything you can imagine to deliver the meals. We have approximately, how many drivers do we have? We have about 32 volunteers, and that includes kitchen helpers, board of directors, administration. And we couldn't survive without the volunteers because there's no way we could afford to pay everybody. We have about 2.5 FTEs, and they don't even work full time. So we are really dependent on the volunteers who do everything from peeling carrots to packing the meals to delivering the meals, helping do the dishes. We have, last year, we served 12,319 meals, and we are open on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday for meals deliveries and in-house meals. We want to ensure that everybody has access to nutritious meals and social connections, which is really, really important for people, especially those at home. Our volunteers dedicated over 5,000 hours to Twin Valley Senior Center for various things, as I just said. We do foot clinics, vaccination clinics, tax clinics, and actually our numbers since the pandemic have now gone up from what we used to have. We're doing a lot more presentations, oftentimes after lunch. Somebody from AARP, Senior Medicare Patrol, Central Vermont Council on Aging will come and do a presentation. So one of the presentations was about fraud. We had a lot of people that got scammed with calls saying that they needed to purchase COVID test kits, and their Medicare accounts got charged, and then Medicare wouldn't pay for it, but it was a scam. So we do all we can to support folks. We have a person coming now that meets with seniors in a confidential space at the center to talk about mental health issues that they are having if their spouse died or they're suddenly diagnosed with Parkinson's disease, for example. What else can I say, Gary?
Did you mention the foot clinics?
Yep, foot clinics. And I'm working on, I think I have somebody that may be willing. We had a grant from VASCamp, and I don't remember what all the acronym of VASCamp is, but it's the Vermont Senior Area something aging something or other, and I can't remember. Just like I can't remember what actually SASH stands for either. But I'm working to get another, but it has to be a licensed nurse. So our grant ran out, and we had the nurse that's doing it charges a relatively low amount compared to what it would cost you probably to go someplace else. But I think I have somebody that will do the foot clinics for free again. And people come from everywhere for the foot clinics. People like Twin Valley because it's small, it's a more homey atmosphere feeling. We have a mystery book club, And we are always and constantly in fundraising mode to try to keep the budget so that we can still perform our services. So with that, do you have any questions?
Questions? Any questions? I don't have any questions. I think you covered everything pretty well. And I really like the statement that you gave us of financial activity. It's really nice to know what's going on, where you spend your money. Obviously, a lot of expenses have gone up, though I do want to stress to you that maybe the expenses will go down now. We've been hearing a lot about that from Washington, right? Expenses are gonna go down.
Yeah, I'll believe it when I see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all I'll say. Yeah. So, you know, stop by, we bought a flag, and I don't know if you've seen it. It's not a permanent thing. It's removable every day, but it's a flag inviting people to come for lunch. And that's helped. We have people that randomly stop in and get a to-go meal. And then once they do that, then they're like, oh, this is really good for, you know, $6 or $7 a meal. You can't get a better meal for that price in our area. So I would encourage you to stop in, check out the parking lot, come in and say hello, and see what we're all about. You're right close by.
Yeah. Well, I thank you for giving us the big report, and thank you for everything you do, which is great.
Well, and thank you for your continued support. Gary, do you want to say anything?
No, I would just say that if it wasn't, well, Twin Valley couldn't do what they do if it wasn't for the volunteers, the generosity of the area towns, donations. We do not have a lot of strong income that we can count on, so we have to kind of earn it as we go. And I think that keeps it honest.
Yep. Honest and a lot of hard work.
I just think that you provide such a wonderful service to the residents of the surrounding towns. I couldn't think of a better thing for people to have access to. You know, Meals on Wheels, going to see people that can't get out of their houses, providing nutritious food to them is a wonderful service. So thank you for everything you do, and thank you for giving us a report.
All right, thank you.
All right.
And Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays to all of you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your time.
Oh, yeah, lots of it. Okay. So let's move on to the next, as we're running a little bit short of time. The next item is the Four Corners Schoolhouse Association. Toby Guyon and Rachel Grossman are here to give us.
We are totally into brevity.
We support that.
It's first time raising up.
Long live your group.
Brevity is, yeah, we're level funded for next year. Any questions?
How are your new cabins?
But, no. All right. I turned to my Trish. So, if anybody wants to look at our financials, like we've run from, our fiscal year goes from July to June, but I ran numbers from January to December.
Now, are you all done with the renovation up there?
So we, well, go ahead. I'll take that question.
Yeah.
We're about 95% of the way done. We've done the main space, all the equipment that we spoke of, the heat recovery ventilation, the heat pump, the dehumidifier, installation of the exterior walls, and the new electrical service. That's all been in there, and that's all been working since end of August. Keeping the moisture levels way down. It's made it a much more pleasant building inside.
We waited upon the entryway. We were advised by the folks from the Vermont Historical, I forget. Preservation. They asked that we not dig into the floor. Access into that space is only through the floor or through the foundation, because it's a separate little building unto itself. So it's, we held off on that. It was their advice not to go through the floor, preserve the floor, the look of the floor. Wasn't my idea that we should not proceed with that, but in any case, they thought perhaps if we dealt with the rest of the building, that the mold in that area might clear up on its own.
Was that crawl space under there?
Yeah, a little crawl space.
Oh, yeah.
So that's not the case. We still get, for people who are really sensitive to mold, it's still a problem to go through that entry.
It smells so strong when you go through
yes.
the entry. It's the first thing you
So
smell.
that's the last bit of what we really were focused on with the grant writing and of course your support from the town. We raised additional funds, which will then now be directed towards getting the interior repainted and the exterior repainted.
So are you gonna do the entry?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we've already, we paid for some testing. Testing was all done on the interior of the main space, and that showed that there was no mold spores. I think there were 3 different air atmospheric tests.
So you have to go down to the floor. There's
Yeah.
no access.
I'll go through the floor.
Yeah.
It's all covered in rubber mats all the time anyway, so I don't think anybody's gonna ever notice that
Yeah. They cut holes.
somebody went through the floor.
Well, you just put it back in.
Yeah,
Get done.
yeah, it'll be, yes. It'll be the
Maybe do a cutting, patch it in.
yeah, little patch, yeah.
Alright.
So that's, but yeah, with the present winter season, we'll probably hold off until spring.
Yeah. Okay.
Good. And so these numbers are not rock solid. I'll be working on the spreadsheet for the town report later on this month, but this was a quick report I put together for you guys and a couple of differences. So you'll notice Wi-Fi at the bottom, and that's a new expense. We never had Wi-Fi at the schoolhouse, and we had to get it in order to be able to remotely control some of the stuff.
Right,
Oh,
the
yeah.
heat pump and the
Right, and it's a good.
moisture meters.
Right, and it's a good thing to have for a community building.
Yeah,
This is
anyway.
2024.
Exactly, exactly, but it is not an expense we would have taken on, but that's, that's an extra, what did we figure, $70 plus a month.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's $600 or $700 a year extra in our budget.
Is that a public Wi-Fi hotspot, so folks can go hang out outside and use it, for example?
Probably.
We haven't, people who might know of it, park outside.
Okay.
We haven't advertised it as such, nor have we approached that question as a board, but
Okay,
perhaps we should.
Are you aware that the state has a map of the public Wi-Fi hotspots, so that folks looking for a signal can
Okay.
know where to stop?
Okay.
But it is password protected at this point, so.
Okay.
That's true.
You can't access it at this point, you have to set up this network.
Yeah.
For it. And the other thing, we're gonna keep our eyes on fuel because our electric bill, because of the heat pump, has gone way up, which
Yeah.
is okay, and the fuel should go down, so we're keeping our eye on that. And.
The oil's still back up, correct?
Oil still back up and for the quick
Yeah.
bump up. The heat pump's keeping the building at 60 degrees.
Yeah.
Anybody needs to bump it up can do it.
And that was part of the money for the heat pump came out of the whole mold remediation thing?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay.
That was part of
That
it.
we needed to basically manage the indoor air temperature.
Yeah.
To control the dew point.
Nice.
And condensation, and so that was always part of the plan. Heat pump.
But it costs more money, electricity.
Yeah.
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 How much more? I mean, in a year, what are you thinking?
I don't know yet. I think, we're just getting into the first part of this heating season.
Yeah.
And it's gone up. What was the last bill?
I know that the
100
bills were, they caused me to write to Hobie and say, oh my God, what's happening
What's going
with the electric bill here?
So it's like double?
It's more
I
than
think
that.
it was
Oh, it's more than that.
like $160 or something like that. I mean,
We're not really,
But the oil should.
But the oil should go down, yeah, I've been keeping an eye on the oil tank, was about 5/8. I mean, yeah, it's hardly been any oil
Right.
use so far.
yeah, so that'll offset.
So,
Should
be.
offset. some of
should
it.
offset quite a bit. Fingers crossed.
Of course, it's washing electric, but it's,
Yeah.
I'm looking
okay.
at the electric bill if you really want it.
Well, I was just curious to know. I mean, you don't really know yet. So.
We don't know.
No.
Yeah.
That's
It was figured that things would somewhat
yeah.
even out, but
Right.
we know when you hope to have things even out, they don't always even out.
Oh, I know all that.
Don't forget how cold it gets this winter.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Okay,
Beer and-
but we'll know for sure next year when you come in. And we'll make sure you come in.
Yeah. Sure.
Well, anyway. Not letting me sign. Okay,
That's all right.
so
We'll see.
our request this year is
Yeah.
4,700.
Yeah, level funded and,
Well, I misspoke, we're going up 200.
Yes.
oh, it's 4,500, right? I was thinking that
Right,
was
and it's 47 this year. I think I saw that somewhere. We'll check our notes before we get it ready for the town meeting.
Well, I see 47 in front of me here.
Yeah.
And by memory, I thought it was 45.
It was. It was.
Yeah.
Oh, but I didn't. No.
All right. All right, any more questions? No more questions?
No more questions.
Perfect,
Wonderful.
Mr.
thank
Chairman.
you.
Wonderful.
All right.
We have 4.
Thank you.
2 more items. Okay,
You found your signpost.
Signpost.
all right, thanks
Let's
again.
go to Brad.
Please bump your sign.
Yes.
You don't have to.
Right to go, sir.
Long live Brendan.
So I'm still at Brendan. So last year at town meeting, somebody questioned why we had so much money in the bank and why we were requesting so much.
Yeah,
And
Oh,
I, you know, and it has to do with when the funding comes and wanting to have enough money in the bank to pay.
Yeah.
So it looks like there's a lot of money, but you're gonna
yeah,
go
yeah,
through it. But when I sat down to do these numbers for you, what I realized, and I spoke with Alex Brown, who helps out with the budget stuff. When the signpost first started, we might have gotten some money from the town, but
you didn't get any money.
we didn't
I
get any
remember.
money.
Right, you were getting it from.
Okay, so all of our money was coming from supporters and from, you know, people who put ads in the signpost, and that was it. And so,
We had that fund, the Gene,
well, we had the Jean, well, no, Jean Kate started the signpost.
but I think she had, there was a
No,
fund.
the fund is for
The
the,
fund was
it's for the
after she
green up,
died.
green
Yeah.
up lunch day, lunches.
Oh, there wasn't anything for the.
The Jean Kate started the
Yeah,
signpost.
yeah.
And the Jean Kate Fund was started after she died to contribute to community projects.
Okay,
So the signpost was fully funded by
Yeah.
donations, basically.
Right.
And so I wasn't part of it back then, but the feeling was that we needed to have 2 years in reserve, so if we had a low year of fundraising, you know, we could still keep going. And at some point, and I hope Jean is not turning over in her grave over this, because I think it had to do with journalism and independence and, you know,
oh, yeah,
all of that. And so
Yeah.
Jean, I think, felt that we shouldn't take money from the town. And at some point, I think it got to be a lot for the signpost folks, and the
Yeah.
town just started funding us.
Mhm.
And,
And we like the puff pieces on the select board that you run and never.
yeah, exactly.
wow, man, conflict. Okay, that will be in the paper.
At least the site, this is the site to write. These are our names to write about.
So at any rate, in looking at what we have in the bank, and where we'll be next year, we lowered our request this year to 10,000, and if we stay at 10,000, eventually, we're gonna have to raise that, because every year what we have in the bank is gonna be less and less, because it costs us about 10,000, a little bit more a year.
Yeah.
To publish our 6 issues. And so we decided 10,000 and that'll get us through several years,
Yeah.
I think, before we have to increase the request.
Yeah.
Because we have a good reserve now.
So
So,
it says 12,000. You're
um,
saying,
They just
Yeah.
decided
well, where are you seeing the 12,000?
on a piece of paper.
it was
that-
what you were wanting.
Paper that I found.
Oh, no, but that's this year's request. That's this
Oh.
year's money that we're expecting. So if you look at this page
Oh,
that I
these are
sent
the
out,
previous voted articles.
yes, so this is January 1, I mean, it should say through December 15th, because we're, yesterday, whenever we put together, and so if you look, it says.
She's talking about this one.
Oh,
I
yeah.
was just passed around.
Right.
Yeah, I saw that one.
Town funding expected is
It's on this
$12,000, and then I
Oh,
just put something down there that says,
You're asking for 10 grand.
so the request will be for 10,000.
Okay.
Was that like a bait and switch on the positive?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
I'm in favor.
It's called a multiple email
Right.
discussion yesterday.
Okay,
Okay,
great.
well, that got the confusion out of it.
And I should say that the signpost very much appreciates the support from the town.
And we appreciate all the volunteer work.
Thank you.
It's a vital thing for the town. Seriously, it is. I'm not being facetious, no.
No, I can.
There's a positive.
I
there's a positive,
noticed
Mr.
it.
Chairman.
I noticed plenty of increase as usual, efficiency and language is important. So, anything else?
Any questions?
Thank you for coming in.
Thank you for both presentations.
Thank you for addressing, that is a question that could be asked at town meeting also.
Yep.
Yeah, it's like, oh, you get a healthy balance, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
And you can say, well, we're gonna be using these down because it actually costs us more than $10,000 a year.
Right.
We're only asking for 10, it's gonna get used down. And you like having a buffer in there too.
I mean, if we asked for nothing, then we're coming back next year and asking for.
Yeah, that doesn't work. What works is
We did that once. and-
what works is a consistent figure.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's why we have
You
done.
gotta
some
have a
things.
reserve, just as a business.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Period.
no, that's good.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay, well, thank you.
Take care.
Okay, so the next item is RCT Transportation with Caleb Grant.
There he is.
There he is. Hello.
Oh.
Good evening, everybody, and thanks for having me. My name is Caleb Grant, and I'm the Executive Director of Rural Community Transportation, provider of the US2 commuter. And thanks for having me tonight. I know you worked through a lot of the details with Monica from GMT. I just wanted to share some updates and how we were able to maintain level funding this year despite increased costs. With the US2 commuter, we actually switched out the buses to more cost-effective, smaller buses due to ridership. We've also changed the schedule slightly in order to increase efficiencies and cut down on deadhead miles. So we're seeing level ridership, but obviously with more cost-efficient methods. The other thing I wanted to share with this group specifically is that we have brought on professional power washing company to maintain the bus shelter at your park and ride, and have also treated the wood this year in addition to the new artistic renderings on the glass. So hopefully you've all seen that. It's part of our new rebranding effort, but with that, we request level funding.
We've actually had a decrease in ridership. But it says in this.
Yes, yep.
Which is unfortunate. But gas is really cheap and that does not lend itself to mass transportation. When
We've
gas-
also been, oh, excuse me.
No, go ahead.
I was just saying, we've also been issuing some no trespass for riders who have caused disturbances, which is kind of put down some of the ridership numbers, but overall total riders has gone up. So although overall ridership rides has gone down, it's because we've taken off some of the problem riders, and it's led to more riders as opposed to rides.
Oh, huh.
Mhm.
Huh. Huh.
That sounds like an interesting story.
That will not be,
Do you
there
foresee
won't be any
any,
brevity there.
I don't foresee any increased use of mass transportation as long as fossil fuels remain so inexpensive. Or do you?
You know,
I mean, what's the
we
trend?
do see increasing when there's inclement weather. I think people feel more comfortable riding the bus when roads are icy, or if they're, you know, unsafe conditions because the buses are so heavy and we have professionally trained drivers. So we do see some increases there. You see some frequency with individuals who are aging in place and maybe have lost their transportation access. So we see some in there. Our biggest decrease has been based in the state's work at home policies, which could change at any moment, in which case the public transportation ridership will rise significantly again, especially for the US 2 commuter, where the majority of our ridership we're heading down to the National Life Building for state employment.
Oh, huh. Interesting. Huh. Well, hopefully you survive. I mean, mass transportation is important, but it's just not getting utilized like it could be with the cost of fossil fuels. That's just too cheap, in my opinion. Even though we use a lot of fossil fuels in my business, I know should be priced higher. And it would spur on the use of mass transportation, in my opinion. Anybody else have any thoughts on that? Carl?
Well, we're kind of lucky in a weird way that we're getting a lot more bad inclement weather, because I do know that what Caleb said is true. Statistically, buses are actually, I think I actually read that they're the safest land transportation in bad conditions. Like they're much safer than cars. And I choose to use buses when there are bad snowstorms or ice storms. And I know that's definitely an increasing trend.
Well, I mean, it's reassuring to think that at least mass transportation is utilized when there's bad weather, thank God. But I would just say, good luck and keep up the good work. I mean,
Thank you.
I want the buses to survive and to do well. It's just a struggle, I feel.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. Any questions for Mr. Grant? No?
No.
No? Okay. Well, thank you for tuning in.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah,
Okay.
appreciate it. All right. So we'll move on to our next item.
Right on time.
Yeah, well, trying to keep on time. So the next item that I have is the East Montpelier Recreation Park Shelter Proposal, Nick Van Den Berg. I see his name up there on the screen.
He's right here.
Oh, you're right here.
Yes,
sir.
So you have a name on the screen and you're also here.
Yes, I joined the meeting so that way I can present my
Slideshow.
yeah.
Okay.
Anybody that might hear it's online, and also then you can just see it up on the big screen.
Yep.
Jen, does he have permission to share the screen?
I think I asked you that in the system.
I've shared it with everybody.
Oh, okay.
We're good. All right, so thank you for the opportunity to share this proposal. My name is Nick Vandenberg and I'm the treasurer on the rec board. So a little background here. So the idea to construct a park shelter was brought up at a rec board meeting back in 2023. So in May of this year, I submitted the capital projects questionnaire to the Capital Improvements Committee, and then I met with them on October 29th to share sort of the proposal and some of the rough numbers I had at that time. And I understand currently they're generally supportive of it, and so that was sort of what led me to come here and then present to you folks. Overview of the presentation. quick introduction, then I got a few proposals, quotes, and I'll break down the cost analysis, tentative schedule, and then hopefully further discussion.
Okay.
So quickly, why do we want to build a park shelter? So great space for recreation activities. Certainly would augment the work of the rec board currently, having a shelter there at the field. Proximity to the school would mean, of course, the school could likely use it for some of their things going on. And then the community at large, I'm sure, would find uses for it. And also importantly, could be a source of rental income into the future as well. So this is the proposed location.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you can kind of see there. That's where we're proposing to put it. This is the tree line basically between the rec field and then the school was up here.
Yeah.
Right.
Would you have to cut any trees there, or is it just?
No, the intention would be to not have to cut any trees. So as far as like the known constraints on that parcel, of course, there's wetlands kind of up there to the left. There's the tree line, there's the property lines that's in the vicinity of the tree line, as well as roadway setback and other clear zone requirements, and then also the existing softball field which you see here, and then the baseball field, which isn't shown in the picture, but there's both of those have sort of standard dimensions that we would need to maintain and stay clear.
So how far are you from the property line?
It's not shown well here, but that's measured out to be 50 feet from where the property line is.
Yeah, because that's the setback. Is it 50 feet you have to have, I think, from the property line?
The note I have here is I thought it was 10 feet, but in any case, if we're 50 feet.
Oh, it's 10 feet on the side.
That's
Maybe
what I
it is.
found, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if I'm to understand correctly, that it's supposed to be, is planned to be right on the foul line?
That's how it's shown there. This is tentative, right? If we found we needed to move it some. Also in my experience, the softball kids that are playing on that field, nobody's hitting it, 150 feet to where that shelter is.
Yeah.
Not to say it couldn't in the future, but.
Kids get stronger every year.
This is true. So quick overview on the different proposals that were received. This one is from Winterwood Timber Frame, so 25 by 35 foot footprint, almost 20 feet to the peak. 812 roof pitch, would utilize eastern white pine, uses mortise and tenon joinery with oak pegs, and it'll be made here in East Montpelier. We also received a proposal from Timeless Timber Frame, similar in terms of the footprint and the roof pitch, and using also eastern white pine and similar joinery made in Vermont. One note on these is like, don't get too hung up on exactly what the framing looks like. It's very much, we can work with the designers to change that if we didn't like that particular how it's arranged.
And no post in the middle on that one.
Right, yeah, they're slightly different, but that's
it's a little open.
Yeah.
Open's good.
Open's good. That's what we're going for.
Yeah, post. It's hard when you got the post in the middle. On the other one, you had the post in the middle.
Yeah.
You gotta work around it.
Yeah, right. I see what you mean there.
Yeah. But anyway.
But for either of those, we
Yeah,
can
that's fine.
work with the designers to make it just what we want. And this third one is sort of a lowest cost option. And this proposal is based largely on my own experience using these prefabricated steel trusses to construct a garage on my property. So same footprint. These have a 412 roof pitch, and for all the lumber components, it would be just dimensional lumber sourced locally. Steel is made in the USA for that one.
What are you using? They all have footings, concrete footings?
Yep, actually that's on the slide here. So for all three of the proposals, they would all have standing seam roof, 40-year warranty. Concrete slab with the posts anchored into the slab kind of shown there.
Oh, so you just have a floating slab, and then on top of that, you're gonna have. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
East Montpelier rec folks would be securing the permitting and contributing a lot of volunteer labor, which I'll get into in more detail. And then we'd also be soliciting sort of technical input from local contractors. So for the concrete slab, for example, like I know I can build the forms, tie the rebar, do all of that, but I don't have the special tools to finish it. Like we certainly need help with that component of it.
Just on the roof pitch, is the 412 pitch, is that of any concern in a snowy climate?
No, I mean, as I mentioned, I built a structure on my property with those exact same steel trusses, so it has the same 412, same standing seam roof, in fact. And it just sheds off.
Yeah, you just get 4 feet of snow on top of the roof, and it wasn't a good thing, but.
Standing seam is pretty great.
Yeah, so it slides off that 412, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's the minimum you can do with a metal roof, 412.
Right.
And I do have some on my property, it does slide off.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, so to get into some of the cost comparison.
Yeah.
All right, so quickly before I go into the numbers, anything in italics is an estimate. Anything that's not in italic text is actual quotes from the supplier. And as noted previously, the concrete post anchor standing seam, that's the same across all 3 options, and I'll cover that in the next slide. So these numbers are just what's different between the 3 proposals. So you see for winter wood, frame and installation, roof decking, those are all quoted costs. The engineer stamp, and that's a question I would have for this group, is whether or not an engineer stamp is required to build a structure like this on town property. I didn't know the answer to that, so I sort of included a contingency if that is something that's needed.
Let's just keep going.
Yeah, we'll keep going.
Wow, a lot of difference there.
Yep. Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, it's too much.
Huh?
I can't bring it up. It's ridiculous. Expensive.
So, so these are the totals for the 3. You'll note on the shroud steel option, that's the prefabricated steel truss. A lot of italics there because had to do a bit more estimating with that one. There wasn't like a contractor giving me a quote. That's me just getting materials in my own experience in constructing a similar thing.
Yeah.
To come up with estimates.
Okay. Wow. So where's the money coming from?
We'll get to that.
Just refresh my memory. Okay, okay. I'll be patient.
He's got a bunch of slides.
Yeah, I'll get through them quickly.
You got a lot of slides. Good.
Yeah, so then for the other, these are the components that will be the same for all of them, concrete. So the installation of the slab and the standing seam roof, that's just assumed sort of if we're paying a contractor to do it basically. So if we pay to have all that done.
That's on top of what you already have.
That's on top of the others.
Okay.
Yeah. As noted here, right, some of these labor costs can be taken care of with volunteer effort. So then the totals are here, and that's the range. Basically, this best case number is saying like, okay, if we get volunteer effort to do the concrete and roof, that other cost component comes down to 90, goes from 22,987 down to this. So then the total cost is sort of presented as a range there, depending on if there's no volunteer labor and if there is volunteer labor to offset some of it. Okay. So quickly, cost benefit analysis. So what I'm presenting here is basically the payback information if the town makes the investment. So on the cost side of the equation, I'm assuming a slight increase in our utility costs because there is an outdoor power outlet at the shed there. So we're just saying like, well, if people are renting the shelter, perhaps they'd be using some electricity from the shed. From Winterwood, they explain that with a timber frame, you should do like a paraffin oil application every 3 to 4 years. So based on the cost of the oil and some assumed labor costs, doing that's about $600 per application, which works out to about $200 a year. Another unknown for me is if there's an insurance cost from the town perspective, but to be determined on that. And then on the benefit side, so where I came up with these numbers is I reached out to Montpelier Recreation Department. They provided data from November 15th of 23 to 24, so a calendar year on their 3 shelters, the old, the new, and the pavilion. So essentially theirs works out to about 575 hours of rental per year at each of those shelters. And so I said, well, our population is approximately a third of Montpelier, so say a third of that as a starting point for us. So that's where the 200 hours came from. In Montpelier, they're charging between $10 an hour and $150 an hour for rental of those spaces, depending on the size of the groups. So I just said, well, if we pick $15 an hour for us, it seems like a reasonable place to start. Okay. So that's where that then comes to an assumed rental income of $3,000 a year. That will all be managed through the rec board, through that volunteer effort?
I've talked to, a fair number of people who use the Montpelier shelters, and they just show up and use them without booking them, without paying for them.
Sure.
And I'm thinking that especially when this is new and getting less use, that people might be more inclined to do that. There's less likely to be a conflict with somebody who's legitimately paid for it. Have you had any conversations about how to increase the percentage of the users who are actually paying for rental?
Not on that topic specifically, but certainly there's, opportunity to advertise it, let folks know that it exists and that it's an option, and to promote promote folks using it.
Yeah, it's one thing to promote folks using it, it's another thing to get them to actually sign up and pay when they use it.
Right.
Well,
Yeah, to your point.
There may be some way to prevent them from happening for free. That's basically what you're saying.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
there may be a
essentially-
way to police that.
Yeah.
So anyway,
If it's, if it's open to the public, folks may utilize it, and then if somebody else has rented it.
Yeah.
but there's a way to handle it.
Yeah.
But anyway,
All right, so those are the inputs, and then the simple cost benefit analysis. Basically, we're just comparing the capitalized value of the benefits to the capitalized value of the costs. Capitalized value being annual value divided by the interest rate. So for this analysis, I assumed 3%. It came from FEMA. They use 3% assumed interest rate when they're evaluating cost benefit of community grant programs. So it seems like a viable assumption for this computation. And so essentially, to come up with a capitalized value for the benefit, it's just the annual rental incomes divided by that interest rate, comes out to 100,000, and then this 80,000 is that worst case figure from the Winterwood option, just sort of for illustration purposes. So that's your upfront costs, and then you add in the capitalized value of your ongoing costs of utilities and frame maintenance, and it comes up to 90,000. Just including this to illustrate that with, I think, some fair assumptions about what we could expect for rental income. It's, providing a tangible economic benefit to the town. Okay, so.
It's a no-brainer.
So for your question, where does the money come from?
Yeah.
Right. So in the conversation I had with the capital improvement committee, I understand there may be some amount available from Carlton Smith Fund. East Montpelier Recreation Board is prepared to do some fundraising. Then there's two different grant programs that I've spent a lot of time learning about in the last 2.5 weeks. So the Land and Water Conservation Fund Recreation Grant Program. I submitted the pre-application for that on December 10th. The cutoff was December 13th. And thanks to Rosie for the heads up on that. And we did, since I submitted it, they, basically they sent back confirmation, like, we got your application, you have all the things you need to have a complete application, for the pre-application.
And that's 50%.
Yeah, I'll get into all that. It's it's a good one. And then the other one, the sort of one we had known about prior, is the Vermont Building and General Services. They also have a recreational facilities grant program. So a couple big differences between those two. LWCF, their match will go from as little as 25,000 up to $1 million. BGS, their match goes up to 25,000. So you can see those two grant programs are sort of very different in terms of their scope and the types of projects that they're trying to support.
When you say match, is that the match they're asking for, or the match they're providing?
The match that they're able to provide.
Okay.
But it's 50%.
But it's a 50% match. Yeah.
So it's 50% up to a certain amount.
Right. Okay. So my understanding from the CIC meeting was like maybe 4,000 ballpark is a good, we can assume that from the Carlton Smith Fund.
Is that just interest or
Yeah.
using it?
No interest.
Okay.
East Montpelier Rec can fundraise 6,000. So now these next two columns, I'm presenting, okay, if the LWCF grant is successful, it's this column. If that's unsuccessful and we then go to the BGS grant, it's these numbers.
Yeah.
And so I presented that then for each of the different proposals on a couple of different grant programs. All right, so then, yeah, regarding the match, so it's 50% or a 1-to-1 match. And the Carlton Smith and the East Montpelier Rec, that combines with whatever town appropriation to be the town's match to the grant program. And then another important consideration is this LWCF grant program, they also allow you to value all of the volunteer hours as
Yeah.
part of the match.
Yeah.
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 Um,
In kind.
yeah, exactly,
Yeah,
right, the youth
right.
have that as in kind. So effectively what that can do is if, you know, for example, if we have volunteers that do the concrete slab as a starting point.
Yeah.
That reduces your upfront cost by, say, the $9,000 estimate for the contractor, and say it took 60 hours, then that computes to about $1,900 in additional match that the town gets to count.
Yeah.
So essentially my ask to the select board would be to consider funding the Winterwood option at 35,000, with the understanding that with the volunteer effort, the actual amount the town would spend would be less than that. That 35,000 is how much the town would be spending if we didn't have any volunteer effort.
Okay.
Right, so that's if we pay full price for everything, the town would spend 35,000 for this option. All right, so then in terms of just timeline, so I submitted the pre-app for LWCF on the 10th. We won't know the outcome of that until May of 2025. And the BGS, there we go. The BGS grant, the deadline to apply for that is September 10th. So essentially the way this could work out is that between now and May, we learn the outcome of the LWCF grant. If that wasn't successful, then we can apply still for the BGS grant. And then in November of 25, we learn the outcome of the BGS grant. And then there's a couple different bullets here in terms of timeline. So if LWCF is successful, the timeline on that one's quite a bit longer. They basically they're very explicit in saying like, don't contract for anything until June 1 of 2026. So like, if that was all successful, then we could put a down payment on a timber frame in June of 2026, which then realistically means we could construct a shelter in 2027. If that LWCF doesn't work out and we go to the BGS grant, then we would learn the outcome of that in November of 25. So that's potentially then when we could make the deposit for the timber frame and construct in 26. And then if neither grant works out, then I would say we could perhaps use the Stroud's steel sort of prefabricated option. And let's see.
So going back to your figures, you didn't, if you use the Stroud's option, you're getting no grants. What's that gonna cost?
Yeah, so if there's no grants and we go with the Stroud steel option, but we pay full price for all the concrete and everything, it would be 37. Essentially, these two numbers combined.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would be the town
Gotcha.
appropriation.
And that's not figuring in volunteer.
Exactly, right. If there's zero volunteer effort and we go with Stroud's option, the estimate is 37,000 town appropriation.
Yeah. So it's gonna cost the town more money if you go with either one of the timber frames and you get a grant. It's gonna cost the town more money.
Well, this
55, 73.5.
Yeah, certainly the
That's with grants, 73. You get a $25,000 grant, you're still gonna cost the town.
right, yeah, for this
73,000.
timeless timber option, for example, right, if it was.
If you get the
BGS grant,
LWC grant, what's that gonna cost the town? You got,
So if it's the LWCF and say the timeless timber.
oh, it's 50,000, gotcha.
Right,
Right, or,
yeah.
Yeah.
Which is why then the Winterwood is sort of the.
Yeah.
Proposed option.
it's either 35 or 55 with.
Yeah, right, depending on
grant.
which grant. Yep.
Yeah.
And really what I would say is, okay, if the LWCF grant doesn't work out, then we will still apply for the BGS grant,
Yeah,
but knowing that like 55 is really not a realistic number, I would say if the LWCF grant doesn't pan out, then we just pivot to using the Stroud steel, still apply for the BGS grant. Because that would get us a long ways towards this one, right?
Yeah.
If BGS is successful, then the town appropriation is down to 18.5.
Right. Oh, got it. So you need an answer on this before you apply, do you know?
Well,
So you've already applied for the
LWCF has a pre-application, which is what I did already.
Okay.
Then they have an actual application, which basically if you pass the pre-application, then they invite you to do a real full application.
Yeah.
And that was in March is when they would, that's when the full application would be.
Yeah, okay.
And one thing about both grant programs is they need to be shovel-ready projects, meaning like we need to be able to show that, okay, the appropriation is here, the grants, the permits are in hand.
And that's before you get approval for the grant.
Right.
You have to be ready, yes.
So the other groups that have been in here talking about funding, they've been asking to be put on the warning so that the townsfolk can vote in March on whether to fund them or not. Would that cycle work for you, or are you asking earlier for select board approval, money from somewhere?
Yeah, right.
We
It
could,
looks like they are from your list there.
yeah. I mean,
December 24th, select board approval.
we could approve the money from the Carlton Smith Fund, I suppose, right now. I mean, that's out there, but do we have any other source to
Well,
approve an appropriation?
The
from?
capital improvement committee has suggested the money from the opportunity fund,
Okay.
Oh,
Thank you.
$30,000 in the opportunity
how
fund.
much is it?
30.
30.
Okay, yeah.
The other thing I would say is if there's 30 available there, given the timeline, and again, if the LWCF would not have us constructing until 2027, I do think that the rec board, because we haven't done a fundraising effort to build a shelter. You know what I mean? Like we haven't advertised that and said, hey, help us raise money. This is what we have available, like the 6,000 we sort of proposed was just based on, we do a lot of work with like concessions and sponsorship programs. So
Right.
we're well on our way to 6,000 just from that. So I do think, if we needed to increase that proportion of the rec board fundraisers, we could.
Right.
So if it was like 30 from that fund and 11 from the rec board and 4 from Carlton Smith, I think that's achievable.
Right. I mean, basically, they're looking for our approval to move ahead. with the application.
With some commitment.
Yeah, with some commitment that we're gonna hand over the money at the end of the day.
So we can build it into the budget for next year and ask people to approve it. But say
Well,
we
we
have
can't
it
do
in our
that.
capital.
We have the money in the capital fund
Yeah.
that we could give them.
And it's a capital cost.
Right. Yeah. So we don't need voter approval to take that money.
Right.
No.
Right.
Because that's not gonna work with our timeline.
Right.
Right.
And it's a nice idea. I like that idea of the voters voting.
Yeah.
The timeline doesn't really work out.
Unfortunately, and I wouldn't say, not my timeline, but the timeline for the grants is kind of. what's
Yeah, no,
continuing.
yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Without the grants, so.
Huh. Well, I mean, I'm supportive of the whole thing. You put a lot of work in this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
congratulations.
You
on
did a
this.
heck of a job.
This is
You have
very
done a
clear.
heck of a job. I just wanna say, listening to you, seeing you represented, I'm like, I'm impressed. Did a good
I
job.
appreciate that. Thank you.
Yep. Yep. So I guess we just need to, now, we probably need a motion.
If we're gonna appropriate
Of
money
course.
for a project.
But we're not actually appropriating right now.
Well, there's
Not appropriate.
What do you want from us, Nick?
He wants
Approval to
approval,
move
but we
forward.
could give approval
To move
on
forward.
Well, this
consensus.
contingency of grant, we're not just gonna give it if there's no grants.
No, wait a minute. We're looking to approve the project no matter what, because if they don't get the grants, they have a third option.
Yeah.
And they would still get money from us.
Right, and there's enough money to
We
cover
have
that.
about the right amount,
Yeah.
37,000
Mhm.
between the Carlton, are you?
For the
including the
steel.
Carlton fund? Probably not.
If you own the steel.
34.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, so to your point, even if we go to that lowest cost option,
Right.
say there's no grants,
Right,
37,
we're okay,
we're
okay,
between that 30 and the 4 and the 6.
be close. So I don't know if we really need a motion, because we're not actually taking any money right now, but we do need to give him some green light.
What do you need for your grant application?
Yeah, so my understanding from the grant applications, and by no means am I a grant application expert, but essentially we need to be able to demonstrate that the money has been set aside. In other words, like show them a bank account that says like, okay, here's 30,000 in our capital improvements, here's our X amount and
Or do you
Carlton
need
Smith.
or a letter?
I was just gonna say.
No, what'd you say?
A letter of intent.
I believe would cover us.
So authorize the select board chair to sign a
Yeah.
letter of support and indication that the town
Has the money.
has the money to support this project.
The other thing I would offer too is I can also, if you're generally supportive of it, I can also just follow up with, I can review in more
See what they
detail
need.
exactly what they need, and then I can just I can follow up and let you folks.
Very
know
much.
That'll work, yeah.
Exactly
We
what
need
they
to make
need.
a motion. and
That'll
have a
work,
meeting.
right.
Okay.
Okay, so what does everyone think? Let's just do this concession.
I like I support
Yeah.
this and let's find out more details.
I think we should give him a letter of intent.
Well, we'll give you
He's
what
gonna-
it
He's
takes.
gonna come back and find out.
Right,
That's what I'm saying.
We'll just give you what it
The
takes.
wording we need. Yep. You'll come
And
back, but
that,
essentially
in
it's a
our,
letter of
in our minutes can reflect that. That isn't that we have to have a motion right now.
Right.
We'll have a motion when we do the specific action that you need from us.
Right,
But for now, our minutes will reflect that we approve of your project.
yeah. Zoe, are you still on the call?
No, she got off, I think.
Okay.
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 This works.
Yeah.
No, I am here. Sorry. I'm having trouble unmuting myself.
Okay.
She said she did.
So,
The
are you also in
consensus.
support of this project?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
All right, so I think that covers you for the moment.
Well, you're
And when
gonna come, you're gonna
and when
come
you
back
get-
and let us know.
Yeah, just let us know.
Yeah.
But our minutes will reflect that we approve of your.
The concept.
Yeah.
This could be a significant improvement to the town's infrastructure, so.
Yeah,
Thank you.
no, it's
Yeah.
exciting, and I think, yeah, find a lot of great ways to use it.
No, definitely.
Appreciate that.
Okay.
Thank you for your time.
That's yours.
Thank you for the great presentation. All right, so, a little behind. Here's an emissions form needs signatures. So we have a form in here somewhere. Right here. I think there's probably a better copy. Is there original somewhere, Jen, or is this the one we needed? Oh, that's it right there.
Yep.
Okay, that's the one, all right. So any comment on that, or will we discuss that? There is an omission. I don't know. You don't need a motion.
No, we
There's
usually get a,
form needs signature
yeah, we usually get a
Well, let's pass it
presentation
around.
from the
somebody.
listers. But I think this is
Revised
all very
current use
clear.
contract.
Yeah,
Yeah, but if we
Pretty
voted,
straightforward.
if we voted against it, we can't vote against it. This is 16.
Yeah.
All day.
Movie.
Another 3.5 hours, 3 hours and 32
All right.
minutes.
There you go. Thank you. Okay, so you can pass that around and start talking about the next motion. The next item is choose vendors, possible motions, office painting, review of bids, recommendation, Ash Tree, Jeff Cueto, townwide reappraisal, listed review of bids, More than Moon Engineering, review of bids. Holy cow. All right. So what's the bids for the painting?
are we going to go into executive session here?
Oh,
For the painting?
I guess we could.
Why don't we do that at the end?
Because we're going to discuss recommendations and so on. So
We have.
I believe the idea was to go into executive session.
If you wanted to, if we're going into detail, it's probably wise to do that.
Yeah, and we're good stewards of the town money and probably want to ask.
We can't
detailed
do that at
questions.
the end of the meeting? We have all these people gonna
We
show.
have an awful lot
Yeah,
of stuff to do.
yeah, some of the people are here to explain this to us.
Okay, oh.
The ash tree,
Oh, all right.
we don't usually go in executive session with that.
You don't think that they were here to listen to your town investments update, do you, Scott?
Yes, of course. it is.
Yeah. In the town-wide
5 minutes.
reappraisal, sisters review, we've never gone in executive session for that. I guess we could for the office meeting.
Yeah. The office painting is what was mentioned to me
Yeah,
as possibly executive session.
Possibly, if you want to.
Why?
Yes.
We don't really, I don't know if we need.
Why do we have to be in executive session?
I have no idea.
because
We never have before.
premature general public knowledge would clearly place our public body at a substantial disadvantage.
For what?
For the office. paint.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, I'm not worried about
That's
it.
more.
How many bids do we have for the office? paint?
Three.
Three?
And they're not all for the same project.
Okay, I'm looking at them. Wow.
I believe that's true. That's what I've been told.
I don't think it's gonna put us at a disadvantage.
No? Okay.
In our negotiations.
Okay, I
don't
just heard
believe
from
that
our
will.
administrator that we might want to.
Yeah.
With the executive session.
Should we be in executive session? Seriously, I mean, if we are, then we should not discuss this in public.
Right. Yeah,
You're
I
in the
think
middle of
it,
it.
we could do the ash tree maybe and then do the paint one
Okay.
Do the paint one last?
in the executive session.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. Okay, Ash, let's do the ash tree then. Get it rolling.
That's good for us.
Ash trees. So I see you had a bunch of bids, 3, 4 bids. 3, I see. Oh, 4, yeah.
Got a bit grid.
Yeah. I
So
see.
we marked trees and the actual count of trees was pretty similar to original estimate before we went out to bid. So we did have, last year, I think we had like about a dozen bids, so but we had gone out later, like in February. This year, we went out earlier, we only got 4 bids, but kind of an interesting range, as you note here. Last year, we were spending about $120 to $130 per tree for removal. This year, looking at the 2 combined projects, the low bid was 55 and the high bid was 420 per tree. So multiple of 8 there between the bottom and the top bid. The number of trees that we're talking about altogether is 379. One thing that noted afterwards when I was looking at the land parcels that are involved, actually, some of the trees that we marked and originally inventoried in 2019 are in the city of Montpelier.
Okay.
So about 6% of our trees were in the city of Montpelier over by Wrightsville Reservoir on the end of Horn Moon Road and on Perkins Road where the bend in the road is, there's a little corner of Montpelier there. So we went out with a couple folks from the Parks Department today to talk about possibility of them funding 6% of the project, and I told them we would get back to them as to whether or not the select board wanted to go forward with the 2 projects combined and the potentially the low bid of $55 a tree. They said that they might be interested in bartering 2 more treatments of ash trees. We had treated ash trees this year at $750 a whack. We're doing it on a 3-year rotation. So I said, well, maybe we could do the treatment for free for the next, next 2 rounds as a barter. It'd certainly be easier to do that than if they didn't want to pay and we had to remove the trees from the contract and we'd have to kind of negotiate on the price a little bit. Probably not a big deal, but simpler just to contract and have all the work done at once. Adam Whitney, Tree Services down in Warren. We checked references, as to say, Paul did. Paul also spoke to Adam. Adam is originally from Massachusetts. He's been in Vermont since around year 2000, I guess, and he's been doing, this is his life's pursuit in terms of his vocation. He's been doing tree work since the 1990s. And I think Paul generally had a good perception of his work, and I think he had done, Adam had done work for the town of Granville, and their road foreman had good things to say about it. And we did have sort of a late bidder, but the bids were due today instead of last Friday. And he wrote a letter appealing to maybe you have a copy of it.
Yeah, I have, yeah.
Larry is the one that did the filler bunch of work, the second
Yeah.
round last
Yeah.
spring.
Is that included in this bid grid?
That was
No.
$40,000.
40,000.
42.5. He's the one that did Diet Road, I believe. Yeah. So are you thinking Whitney is your choice? I mean, it's certainly a lot cheaper.
Yeah, I think so, you know, and it's just, I mean, we sort of kind of target budget of $20,000 a year, so I was really encouraged to see that we could actually get almost 400 trees done like we did last spring,
Yeah.
and kind of move us ahead pretty quickly. And potentially, I mean, if things work out with them, we might be able to negotiate future contracts, get this thing buttoned up.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what's, did we have any money left from grants or anything?
Or
budget?
we're named grants available this year.
Okay. So, in our budget for this year, this money, what do we have left in the budget for the ash tree removal for 24-25?
I
That
think for
budget.
last spring's work kind of used.
Use the whole budget up?
Yeah.
Uh,
I think
Yeah,
so.
I think the whole budget is pretty much.
The second project last year.
Yeah.
Use up all the money. So we have no money left actually to spend on it. But it's gonna have to come out of somewhere. Is that correct? Because we're still in the 24-25 budget cycle. So we've used up all the money that's in the fund in our, that we set aside.
Last year's monies.
Is that correct? I mean, I'm not sure.
I think so, yes.
So where's this money coming from? I'm listening.
Not really sure at this point.
Okay. Because I remember that we encouraged Jeff and Paul to go out and get bids, because I thought there was some money somewhere that we had hidden away that we hadn't used up. And you were saying, hey, let's use this money up, but it turns out there's no money.
No.
Okay.
Well, not,
Yeah,
this
I mean,
is
we-
an allocation for this year, this coming year. Right.
Yeah, but the budget goes from July to July. And we're right in the middle of it. And we've already used up the allocation for this year's cycle.
Could you do this work after July 1st?
Well, we're trying to do the work before the flight season for the ash work.
Yeah.
You can certainly, I mean, it's feasible to do it later in the year, but I think he probably, because he's an arborist, this is, you know, probably getting early in the season, so he can give us a good price. He's probably busy doing
Yeah.
residential, commercial work through the summer.
So he would do it now.
No. You would do it starting April, May.
April, May.
In about 3 days.
Yeah. During mud season, basically, or right after.
And we
Okay.
can't push it out till after July.
What's that?
We couldn't push it out until after July.
They're saying they want to get it done before the bugs start flying around. Right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's sort of how we've been doing it.
I mean, we could probably scrounge up the money somewhere, but I'm just saying, out of our budget, that's all.
Yeah, you could approach them about doing it later in the year. The way it was bid
We
out.
do have extra money that we didn't spend in our road budget. We're under budget on that. But that money has already been gone somewhere else. Or what? We have a surplus,
I think the repair,
sucked up some.
there's extra in the repair, right?
Oh.
We do have
We
the.
But we're not even
Coming
done
in
yet.
from the auction.
What's that?
We do have some funds coming in from.
Yeah. we do.
That might be a.
That might be
place that we
enough,
could rob it
right?
from. So.
I mean, that money really should go back to the capital fund,
Whatever
but
you call it.
doesn't, I guess it doesn't have. It's miscellaneous income, basically.
It is.
Yeah. Well, it's not a huge amount of money, so I guess we could scrounge it up somewhere.
I know you missed the chance if you did like that.
I know, it's a
Yeah,
big,
recommendations
it's a
on the
small
side.
amount of money for a large amount of trees. I'm not being unsupportive, I'm just trying to do my due
Right.
diligence and figure out where the money's coming from.
And there's no more grants available?
Kind of the grants this round are towards disadvantaged communities and this Montpelier does not qualify.
No, right. All right, well, I guess we'll scrounge it up somewhere.
Yeah.
I can take it out of my pay. but
Okay.
It might take a lot of years.
4 years.
You do a different kind of math than I do.
We already got paid.
We already got paid, yeah. But how about next year's pay? Yeah, but I don't think that's gonna quite cut it.
You gotta get reelected.
Yeah, for a lot of years. Oh, they're whispering. Is this good?
Cut our pay.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, sure.
Capital Resilience Committee.
Sure.
Cut our pay.
Cut our pay.
So do we need a motion?
I think we do need a motion.
I would just, relative to Montpelier, I mean, that's like $1,200 there, so. I mean, they might do
Could
one
be less.
pop up
It could be less.
$1,200 for the Montpelier section.
Yeah, whatever. That's pocket change, actually.
Yeah, I mean,
That's what they should.
But I think is it more valuable to us to have the in-kind service of the.
the treatment is,
Inoculation?
it's gonna cost you $750.
Yeah,
So 2 rounds. would-
it's 1,500. so.
Yeah,
Yeah,
assuming all our ash trees.
I'm kind of interested in treatment, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah.
I'd rather have the treatment.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not interested in 1,200. Yeah. If the treatment works, it'd be great.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll scrounge up the money. I think that's the general consensus. I mean, it's a good deal. Let's get it done.
So the motion, is that in order to authorize the Resilience Roads Committee, is that what you're still called? Resilience Roads Committee?
Yeah.
Yeah, to spend up to $20,800 on ash tree removal in the 2 identified project areas.
You probably want to name the contractor, because that's what we're doing. We're approving that.
Awarding the bid.
Okay,
Yeah, we're awarding
Okay,
the
so,
contract to a specific entity.
okay, so
Yeah.
then the motion is to award
Yeah.
the ash tree removal bid to Adam Whitney
Yes.
Tree Services
Yeah.
at $20,800.
Yeah.
I'll second that.
This is actually awarding the contract.
Yeah. We're
Awarding
awarding
the contract, yes,
Yeah.
thank you.
Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
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 Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you for all the work that you've done.
Yeah. This was not nearly as fancy a PowerPoint presentation as we saw before, but there's a heck of a lot.
I know, I was kind of embarrassed.
There's a lot of work.
Yeah, yeah.
You were kind of embarrassed?
Don't be embarrassed.
Don't be embarrassed. This
Don't
is-
be embarrassed.
We
but
know how much work went into these
It's
figures.
all a lot of
Because
work.
we can read.
I'm sorry.
We can read? Okay, so the next contract, the town-wide reappraisal list review of bid recommendations. Now there's murmuring in the back somewhere. Are the listers here to give us information? Oh, you're not?
Motion to adjourn.
Well, you're coming out? Oh, you're printing out?
Congratulations. Is your family there?
How about if we take up another item if you're gonna be dragging your feet?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Corner of the Moon Engineering review of bids.
Okay, we only got one there, so.
Okay,
I think an addendum needs to be made to get more bids without divulging
the
the
bid.
estimate, yeah.
We only got one.
We need more.
Okay,
Should have a minimum of.
so you do advertising?
Yeah, two. So I'm gonna put it on the vendor website.
Okay,
It went to the paper and it was online. and
Yeah.
now, but
Fine.
We only got
Okay.
one back.
all right, so basically gonna beat the bushes some more.
Yeah.
What's the new deadline gonna be?
Maybe January.
Okay,
Yeah.
do we need a motion to authorize town administrator to do that?
I don't
Not to
know if
put
we
out
need
a bid.
motion,
Okay,
As long as you're okay with it.
okay.
Yeah, what was the timeline on that project? I mean,
So this is to get the engineering for the home
Yeah.
of the moon. And
Yeah.
it's for the new disaster.
Yeah.
So
yes,
I think we have a year, but
Okay.
you want to get the engineering done
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
So that the build can happen quicker.
okay. So you gotta put it out again.
Handle it.
Sounds good.
Yeah,
I have faith in our town administrator.
What'd you say? Okay, good. So that's done. And the ash tree's done. Are the listers ready yet?
Yeah.
Great,
We can give this to town, we can give us.
getting late.
Yeah.
We're losing patience. True, Mr.
Yeah. Probably
Yeah,
not
same.
gonna issue.
It's been a long day. I'll tell you that. Long.
I haven't played for a while.
What's that?
I sat in the airport for a while.
Oh, you did? Oh, you just got back?
Yeah, I just was down in Dallas.
Where? Washington DC?
Yeah.
Oh, Dallas, right.
Yeah, so my grandparents.
Yeah.
Did somebody faint? Did somebody fall over or something?
Yeah, they did.
We got a
So let's move on.
lawsuit, got a lawsuit?
No, the list is fainted, so we can get to the next item.
I guess the quote was really way out of line.
Yeah,
Good.
okay.
It's hard to put these guys into a matrix because nothing compares to anything else, but. Yes.
Thank you.
Oh, you want to word this right?
Give it to the-
Ooh,
Good
geez.
catch.
Okay.
All right, this one mine, you got one? Is Rosie here?
No.
Here, I got an extra. Oh, great. Okay. We met with both Bill Krajewski of New England Municipal Consultants and Nemrick Ed Clodfelter. They were both really impressive. They both had us thinking, oh yeah, we like you. And then you see the next guy, yeah, we like you. So it was really hard. I mean, you can't really go wrong because they both have really good things to offer. And one thing that Nemrick's got is our history with them. We know that, you know, when we call them on the telephone, they pick up right away. We've never been on hold with those people, you know. And they're in the thick of it. They're doing more towns in the state than anybody else, so they know what to do. Yeah. I have complained just a few times about their software being a little clunky, and this other guy's software seems to be. When I talked to somebody who made the switch this year, they just finished their reappraisal in 2024. They switched from Nemrick, our camera program with Microsoft, over to Catalyst, which is Nemrick. And she said, I love, and then she said, wait a minute, no, I loved it. And she just went on and on about it. So, I mean, really, we couldn't go wrong. When we first looked at that proposal that went around, I mean, everybody got a copy or it was online or something like. We noticed that there was a $6,460 a year fee to use software in the cloud. So I said, well, we don't use Nemrick in the cloud. We only use it on our server. Don't we have the option to just use it on our server? And he said, yes, and that would bring it down to $2,600 a year on the server. And there's a one-time SQL license, which I forgot what it stands for, but it has to do with the language that talks to the database. And that would be a $1,500 fee. And because it's the one-time fee, I stuck it under the bid side there because it would probably get rolled into the contract. It's just like the base cost. Similarly, under Nemrick, which was $144,000, there's a $1,000. My M&S is Marshall and Swift. That's the cost tables that we use when we have to buy the book, and they charge a lot of money for it because they don't sell a lot of them, but you need it when you need it. And then there's an annual fee of $499 a year that we pay now. We got Marshalls and Swift's tables, so we have to pay a fee every year to use them. And $235 is what we're paying for the Apex Camera program. They also have a cloud option, and Ed Cloudfelter was really big on moving over to the cloud. He said it's reliable, it's secure, and it's faster, and it's just somebody likes it. So if we were to do that, it's $20 a month times the number of users. There's 3 listers, but then if the treasurer wanted to get in there to print a tax bill, or if the town clerk wanted to get in there would be another user. So we assumed 5 users, which would be $100 a month. So that's $1,200 a year. So there's a $1,200 a year plus $734. I didn't put the addition there, but you can see that's $1,934.
Oh, cool.
And the other one would be $2,600 a year. So they're not as far apart as they seem to be initially.
Yeah.
Up above there, that 5642 and that 879, that's what we pay the NEMRIC for all of the NEMRIC modules. So it's hard to pull out whether or not they even take anything off if we said we don't want to use one little piece. And the disaster recovery similarly, it's basically they're keeping all of our backup scores, and if we ever needed to have everything replaced because the building went, the big boom,
right?
They had them. And then as far as additional parcels, they were close. One was going to charge $90 a parcel, one was 100 because I mean, oh, the one number I forgot to put in here, just right on the left-hand side there, 2028 for NEMIC and 2029 for NEMRIC.
Really, when they gonna do it?
That's
that far out?
April 1st that year would be when we would have our grand list. They would start 18 months before that in the fall of 26 or 27. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So these are the finish dates.
Yeah, April 1st. Well, April 1st is when I mean, that's the date of the values, right? You're actually gonna lodge a grand list on June 4th and send out your grievance notices, and basically everybody has the opportunity to grieve.
Yeah.
Then there's a period of running informational meetings, or even running informational meetings between April and June. It's really interesting. They probably each have their way of doing this, but Ed is the freshest one because we just saw him on Saturday. When they go to your house, first of all, we send out postcards, and there was some questions of who's going to pay the postage and the printing, but I didn't think that was terribly important in the big picture. But, they send out postcards and they say, okay, we're going to be in your section of town, you know, Horn Room, Senior Circle, Jacobs Road, whatever. Everybody gets a postcard and says, we're going to be out next week in your area. We're going to come knock on your doors. We're going to measure the outside of your house. So if you see us drive up, we'll have a sign on the side of our car. We're going to be measuring your house. Don't freak out. We're going to knock on the door and ask, you know, do some questions, maybe let us walk through or whatever. If they're not home, they have a thing they leave in the door that says, we were here, we measured the outside, we'd like to see the inside. We're gonna put the drawing that we did based on what we could tell from the outside online in 2 weeks. And here's your particular code. So you can go online and see the drawing that we did, and you can let us know if we missed anything or we got anything wrong. And so everybody can check their own thing. They also are told on there that they should call the listers and make an appointment so that they can come back out and go inside. And they do a quick inside, you know, they don't spend a lot of time, but the more houses they can get inside of, the better, obviously, because there's been a lot of interior renovations that we don't know about.
Wasn't it the case that one of these bidders wanted you guys to do the appointments, the scheduling, and the other one was going to do the scheduling?
They're both gonna do this postcard thing where we tried to see you, now you gotta call us.
Okay.
The listers will receive the telephone calls. Is that true for Bill Burdesky too?
What was that?
Was Bill gonna take the telephone calls for the appointments?
No,
I
we're
think they're
gonna take,
come to us, right? Yeah, so
So the cost to the town in terms of your time, it's gonna be identical, basically.
it's a little bit easier because they're calling us. Last time, what Ross was trying to avoid was last time we were responsible for making the initial
Okay.
Contact.
reach out. And we had to spend a lot of time just trying to find people's telephone. Yeah. Trying to get in touch with these people anyway in the first place.
Yeah.
They both emphasize the importance of having a public outreach and getting the town informed about what's going to be happening ahead of time, so people aren't surprised, and if they're all realizing everybody's in the same boat, let's all get on board, let's, you know, participate. It's not gonna be as painful as you think. They're gonna be in and out in 10 minutes, you know. So, and then I interrupted myself, and I was about to say, before was that between April 1st and the lodging grand list, when everything's been evaluated, then there's an informational period. Instead of grieving, because you don't have the grievance period yet. If you have any questions about your parcel, your property value, whatever, because it's all gonna be out there, then come in and talk to us about it on an informal basis. And you can clear a lot of stuff up then, because people just usually have questions, they're not really necessarily objecting, they just don't understand what's going on. And a lot of that gets taken care of. So I mean, the number of actual grievances, if you do that part right, are usually very few. Randolph had like 10 grievances. She's the one who loves.
So which one of these do you lean towards, just to cut the conversation a little short?
We have gone back and forth all day because there's things to like about both of them. I went on Marshville's website today to see what their data cards online look like. And they've got a really nice feature where you can go into the entire grand list and you can say, yeah, I've got a ranch house, it was built in 1975, it was 1,300 square feet. So you can sort and say, okay, just show me the ranch houses that were built between 70 and 78, 1970, 1978, that are between 1,200 and 1,400 square feet. So they're the most like mine.
Yeah,
And then you can just get a list of those
yeah, in the town.
for the town, yeah.
And that's with which vendor?
Marshfield, if you.
No, which vendor?
Oh, sorry, that's Nemic.
Okay.
Nemic is a newer software and is probably dealing with a lot of bigger places than Vermont too. I think they might have started in Massachusetts or something. And so they've got more bells and whistles, and you know, on one hand, we might be paying for more bells and whistles than we really need, but some of them are really cool like that.
Yeah.
I asked Ed about that because I don't think Nemrick can do quite that.
Yeah.
We can do it. I mean, we can go into Canva and create our own filters,
Yeah, yeah.
but we can't put it in the hands of the public to create their own little sorts.
Oh, yeah, right.
But Ed did say they have more data to put online than we're putting online, and he said in Newport, when they put all that stuff online, they stopped getting telephone calls from people calling up and saying, you know, can you make a list of all that, because they can do it themselves. So and that would be an improvement we should work on right now.
Right.
Yeah, and it helps real estate agents too, you know. It's what it
So,
is.
so you must lean towards one of these.
Sometimes it depends on the last guy I talked to. I talked to both of them today, back and forth.
So you like them both?
Yeah, you know, Nemrick is bigger, they've got more people working for them, they do 13 to 14 of these things a year.
Yeah.
And yet they're still scheduling out to 2029
Right.
with that capacity because so
Yeah.
many towns are
So
working with
busy.
them, so they're doing a lot of it.
Yeah.
You know, it's easy to say, stick with the horse you're on instead of switching horses, but
Oh. I usually switch myself.
That's because you wear your horses out.
That's right.
Yeah.
When you're playing polo, you switch horses all the time.
Yeah.
Every 7 minutes.
So.
which way are you leaning right now?
What's that again?
Which way are you leaning right now?
Where am I leaning right now?
Yeah.
I mean, the conservative thing is to go with who we've always been with. But the Nemrick sound is just as shiny or new and looks like it has potential for more fun to deal with, but there's a longer learning schedule for learning for us, learning curve for us to learn it. And then there's also the question of, you know, how will it mix with the current system with, you know. And that's a big question, but I mean, other towns manage it, but I mean, it's a little, you know, so. So I think after.
A little more to learn with the newer system.
Right, so it's a shinier new.
Yeah. Shiny, yeah, right.
Yeah, so are we gonna be conservative and go with the one we know?
Yeah.
And we know how it works, or we do this shiny new thing, so.
Well, I'm adventurous myself.
Yeah, I'm sort of inclined to bring the shiny new one.
Yeah.
You know?
I don't think you go wrong either way.
Yeah.
You're not gonna go wrong. Right.
Confident.
They use that.
You're still gonna get a good product at the end of the day.
No, but we're talking about county.
I know. I'm asking you how, did she say that it works well? Because they use Nemrick for everything else.
Yeah, the concern is less about how well it interfaces with Nemrick because they've been doing that for a few years. But now that they've introduced VT Pi, everything's got to talk to VT Pi now too.
Oh.
So the Catalyst law, Axiomatic, and Axiomatic's one of the ones that's creating the VT Pi program with Nemrick. So they are working together. According to Nemrick, the holdup for the rollout of VT Pi, because the behind schedule is on the catalyst side. So.
Yeah.
It's worth. Nemrick thinks they're ready to roll it out, but
Yeah.
they're waiting for the other guys to catch up. So anyway,
I mean, the 1 year earlier between Nemrick and NEMC is attractive to have get it done quicker, but what are we under the gun with the state, what is it, CLA?
Yeah.
We are under that. I mean.
Oh, yeah, and it's.
We're mandated to do it.
Oh, yeah, but not by that, by the
COD changed it.
COD, they changed it, you know.
Yeah.
And,
They changed what?
We don't get triggered by the CLA dropping,
Anymore?
we get triggered by the COD going up.
Okay.
and so,
But there's gonna be a
What's our CLA at right now?
70.33, they
Oh,
haven't
wow.
done this year yet, that was last year.
Holy cow.
They haven't
It'll be
done it
like
this year yet, it's
50.
gonna go down again because.
Yeah, properties are selling for a lot of money. That's what
That's right.
happens. They sell for a lot more money than they're
a lot
appraised
more,
for.
yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, but you're not concerned about the extra year? Waiting for the reappraisal.
Oh, well,
Is that gonna make any
Well, they
difference?
may change how they calculate the education.
that's what I was gonna say, that, yeah, right, there's gonna be Jill Remick, who's in charge of PDR, is gonna have
Yeah.
a Zoom meeting next Wednesday,
Okay.
that we're gonna, no, this Wednesday,
There's enough towns
2
that
days.
can't apply. they're gonna extend it.
2 days.
Because
Anyway, they're gonna talk about the fact that the legislature is talking about mandating a 6-year cycle for reappraisals going forward, so we don't end up in this kind of crazy situation where nobody's done it for 20 years and all of a sudden everybody gets
Yeah.
triggered at once.
Except you gotta spend over 100,000, 150,000.
Well,
Well,
that
a
was
lot
my
of it's
first
because the
question.
land values have gone up so much, so quickly. That's what triggered all these reappraisals. I mean, when your CLA is at 90-something%, you don't worry about it. And that's where it was for
Right.
years.
Right, yeah,
But then COVID happened, land went like this, and now everyone's gonna reappraise.
exactly.
Do
The thing
we,
comes back that, I mean, are we gonna put out, 160,000 every 6 years?
Yeah.
Or every
10.
10 or 12 years, you know?
so do we get penalized by anybody for being completed a year later?
Right, that's a
By
good
one of these?
question. That's kind of where I was headed.
No,
I've been trying to wrap my head around that because it's.
the penalty would just be in the education,
Exactly, right.
because you, as it is now, which they may change. But as the CLD, gets lower, our taxes go up.
You mean it's a COD, oh, you're using the CLA.
CLA,
Yeah.
yeah. So they charge us, the state charges us,
Right.
more money.
There's a lot of pressure.
Because as you lower the division divider
Right.
is smaller, then the product, I mean, whatever it is, quotient gets higher.
Right. But that's just to anticipate what the results of the reappraisal will be.
But it helps to fix that, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that'll fix that. That ratio is what he's saying.
The
But
reappraisal
also,
will, yes,
and
I understand.
also,
I
they're
understand.
working on it now to change the ratio, so we're not penalized.
Yeah,
because
yeah,
every
got it.
town
So
Every town's
is under the same.
So, but it's not really a penalty to us, it's just an attempt to
Equalize.
get our taxes in line with what the reappraisal would show if we'd already done. the
Well, but they
reappraisal.
use that calculation for the education tax.
Yes,
That's the
yes,
problem.
yes,
But we're using it for the town tax too, in the sense that we're using our appraised values, which are half what they should be.
Yeah.
And so our tax rate reflects that. If we doubled everybody's value on
Yeah.
the grand list, we would cut
Yeah.
our town tax rate in half.
right,
But
But the
doesn't
same
matter,
amount.
it's
The
the same
tax
amount of
bill would be
money.
the same,
exactly.
but I don't think it works quite as simply as that when it comes to the education.
Oh,
I don't think so.
But if
either.
it's
I
like
agree.
in other towns, when
Okay.
they do a reappraisal, they often come up with a CLA with over 100%,
Right,
which cuts their educational tax.
Right.
Because it's this big number,
Their total
divided
bill.
by a bigger number. Therefore, the end of that is
And
a
there's-
smaller number.
there's a good
Yeah.
reason to do that
And so
too.
that really helps us, and it hurts us in the past because we have such a small CLA.
And something that Ross is talking about here just reminded me of something that Ed told us. That first year of the reappraisal, when you have 105, 106%
Yes,
for a CLA.
Yeah.
That lowers your state education tax, and it's a good thing too, because the state payments, the people that are income sensitive
Right,
are 1 year behind, they're lagging. So those people will get really hit that first year because they're getting a state payment based on the
Yes.
pre-reappraisal
Right.
values, right? So the fact that your taxes didn't hit quite as hard, there's a second year when your taxes go up more.
yeah,
But hopefully your state payments for the people that need the state payments
will come
get more
up.
in line, yeah.
Yeah, right.
So there's a little bit of a wibble wobble
Yeah, yeah.
there in the
Well,
first 2 years.
I guess what we're talking about now is a concern with the year difference between the timeline of the two appraisals.
Sounds like the town government will pay no penalty, but taxpayers may get a significant benefit on the education tax side of things, at least by having it done a year earlier. Am I understanding that
That's
correctly?
possible.
It's possible,
I don't know.
but if they don't know, they may change the formula. is what
Okay.
they're saying.
It's
It's such an
hard to
uproar.
keep the thing out.
Right.
I think there's gonna be changes. There's a lot of pressure.
Was that
Do you understand how the education tax is treated?
Similar? I mean, a little bit.
I mean, it's not a straight
It's
formula
not a
like it is for the town.
It's not a straight formula.
Right.
I don't know.
I mean, you would think they would have like a statewide education tax and then just multiply it divided by the CLA,
Anyway,
the way that we
we
do, you know. And that's how you equalize the whole state, but it's not that simple.
So my concern is more is if we go with the newer software, is it gonna meld with what we're using now?
Right.
And is it gonna affect like Rosie's job?
Rosie doesn't get inside of CAMA, she's
I don't
only,
get into.
no, the only people that are in CAMA
So
are
it's
us.
just you guys.
As long as the
Just
CAMA
listed.
stuff goes over to the Nemrick side, then it's the same to everybody. And we
He's
produce our
talking about
tax.
the new software though.
Huh?
He was talking about the new software.
I know, the new software.
Right, I just wondered if it was gonna interact well with what we're currently
Right.
using,
Well, other towns are using it and they're using it with Nemrick, so,
and you think it's working.
yeah. The only concern I heard about was, you know, whether that was gonna meld with BT Pi, which is the
Okay.
state software where they were doing more and more stuff in. We're trying to
Right.
do all our current use in it, our homestead declarations.
I don't think any of us on the select board have strong feelings one way or the other about who you choose for.
I agree.
Yeah, I didn't put the difference, but it's a $9,000 difference ultimately in the price.
Well, that's still not a lot of money. I mean, if we're just gonna do it on money, then Nemrick is the cheapest.
The bigger difference is
Right.
if going to the cloud is a real advantage, it would be more expensive to go to the cloud with the other software than it would be for Nemrick. Nemrick is $1,200 a year to go to the cloud, and the
Yeah.
other one's $4,200 a year to go. I mean,
Right.
wait, do you have to have it on the cloud? 42? On 38?
You don't have to,
In
is
fact,
what they said initially.
$3,800? Anyway, you don't have to go to the cloud. There are really specific requirements for your server to
Yeah.
run this heavy
Yeah, I don't think
database
we have that.
software, and so we got who's talking for you?
Michelle.
No, I think there's a reason we're not on the cloud with Nemrick.
Which I haven't,
No, that's not
which
true,
I still
because
don't understand.
I
that.
have Nemrick's dogs on the cloud. But my dog licensing is
The
all on the
rest of
cloud.
us is on the cloud. though.
No, because they're moving everything eventually to the cloud.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like there was a
After
reason
this
why we
year,
weren't.
everyone is gonna be, who's using the dog licensing has to be on the cloud. I've been using it for the last year.
The first phase is they're gonna put the software, and it's gonna be a .NET software. Right now, our software resides here. But they're gonna put the Nemrick software in where. I
It's
guess
just
the
like
cloud.
my land
But it's
records.
just the
are-
software, not the data. Eventually, they're gonna have the data in the cloud too.
Yes, sir.
Is a motion in order to authorize the listers to pick one of these bidders?
Something, because we gotta get going here.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be here all
So
night.
you're being kind of indecisive. You're being indecisive.
Yeah, that's exactly
We've
how.
gone back and forth.
So,
This hap-
We
this
don't,
happened
we don't
with
know the right
Jeff,
answer.
too.
And you have more information than we do.
yeah, and you're gonna be in the position of use
I know
of
that.
being with these people.
We knew you were gonna do that.
Well, why would we pick one way or the other?
Yeah,
Want me
You
to,
know,
want to flip a coin?
We don't want to be responsible.
but you need to make a recommendation.
Yeah.
That was your job.
Yeah, I mean, if I, had- yeah,
Okay, yeah,
I would personally, I guess I would do the old familiar ones, stay with them and there's less problems and moving forward, you know? But again, the other one
But it
nice,
also-
looks really nice.
And it is gonna be a lot, it is gonna be a lot more expensive to keep it on the cloud. Everything's gonna be on the cloud. I still don't understand why we have a server. But I brought that up and.
it's gonna be more expensive to have a new system on the cloud than Nemrick on the
Whatever.
cloud. I mean,
Yeah, but for a yearly basis,
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
it's a lot cheaper.
Cheaper to go with Nemrick.
Yeah.
So Deb,
It's
you
19
want to
It's
vote here?
1934 a year to have it in the cloud with Nemrick and 6,460 a year to have it in the cloud with them. So that is a big difference right there.
Yeah.
Difference.
You need to vote.
Jesus.
I would vote for it, but
Yeah,
it's-
same. What'd you say?
He said he's going with Nemrick.
It just seems like go with something that's more modern.
Scott's-
And cheaper.
Oh, that's not
Something on a
Nemrick.
on a yearly basis with the cloud and, well, go with something that's a little more advanced. I know it may be a little more difficult for you to pick up the speed, but you also have years to,
What are you recommending, Scott?
Basically, the first option, I think.
but what do you want to do?
MC,
Where did you just come
yeah.
I think the silent.
Yeah,
me too.
He's pointing to this one.
Huh?
You're pointing to Nemrick, where we are now.
Nemrick is.
Nemrick's where we are now.
And that has all the bells and whistles, or is the first one?
No, the first one does.
Oh.
You're confused.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
okay.
I'm confused.
I'm used to
Yeah.
it.
All right, never
See,
mind.
that makes it more difficult.
Yeah,
Oh my God.
No, I'm not listening.
Okay, Deb, give us your words. Give us, you have 1 sentence.
Tick, tick, tick. Come on, Dad. Yeah, right. I have to say that I kind of feel like since we're looking so far out into the future, that we might be making this decision for a completely different set of listers. You know?
Yeah, that's,
Yes,
yeah,
that's a responsibility
that's
you have.
true. But that's okay. We make decisions every day
Mhm.
and there's no wrong decision here.
Correct.
Yeah,
Correct.
but which way are you leaning?
And also, if you're gonna end up doing this again in another 6 years after that or something, you can just go the other way if those guys take off like rockets and everybody figures, why did we go with them when we had a chance, you know?
Yeah.
No. I
She can't make a decision.
know.
Why don't we just make a board?
I move to accept the bid from Nemrick.
Nemrick or Nemrick?
Nemrick.
Nemrick,
Yes.
the old,
The one that we
the old
already
faithful.
have, yes.
I'll
We-
second.
we've
And
heard
then
from
Deb's gonna be
one-
disappointed.
We've heard
I
one,
can tell.
we've heard from one of the listers and the
Yeah,
other
but
lister
we
won't
haven't heard from
say,
the other one.
and she won't say.
I
That's
think she'll
what
be
we-
upset. I think she'll be
Ask
upset.
her what she thinks.
We've asked her that for 5 minutes.
I'll second the motion.
Okay, the motion second by Zoe.
What's the motion? There you go with Nemrick.
Yes.
Any further discussion?
No.
Any further discussion?
Any further discussion?
I was just thinking about. a long-
I'll vote against it if you
I
really
know,
feel.
I know, I just thinking about a long conversation I had with Chris at Nemrick the
I
other
have a
day.
quick question.
And he's a great support
Yeah.
person for us, and
Yeah.
he's got perspective, he's got history, and he's not 70 years old, so he's probably gonna be around for a while.
That's with Nemrick.
Yeah.
Yes, Scott.
This is for coming up. Suppose in 6 years or 8 years or something, you want to go with somebody else. We've invested all this money. You have to pay it again in 6 or 8 years. This is
The
just,
reappraisal you do.
so this is just
Reappraisal.
for the one
This is just a
appraisal.
reappraisal.
Yeah.
Basically.
That's what it costs.
So you're not married to
No,
it in 6 or 8 years.
No, you
Well,
could get
you
divorced
could-
and do the thing.
You could do the reappraisal, let's say we
And-
divorce.
and-
You know how software works. It's
Of
gonna be
course.
obsolete by the.
That's what.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, if we go with Nemrick now and we do the reappraisal in 2029, we have it all, done. The next year we can switch software. You don't have to wait for a reappraisal to switch software. It's just that's the logical time to do it because they create a whole shadow grand list and transitions taking place over.
The only reason I'm leaning towards Nemrick is just 1 year earlier. I think.
No, it's
Yeah.
later.
It's a
One year later.
Nemrick
Oh,
is-
Nemec,
Oh, I missed
the
it.
top,
Mixed it up.
the top.
Is this one?
Oh, that's 2029? I mixed it up.
Yeah, everybody.
Well, I don't go to Nemrick. I know that the other one.
Circle the bottom one, that's the one we have right now.
Yes, got it.
And
Nemrick, I got it.
shiny new, the shiny new toy is the one.
I
on
know we
top.
have a motion. We're discussing. Scott, you like discussion? Okay, well, let's call the question here.
Right, I would have a tendency to go with Krajewski, I guess, so that doesn't help because now we're split, so.
Okay, then I'm gonna vote against it. I'm gonna vote against the motion because I wanna go with
We're
you.
not split, we're not really split, it's just that we're flipping a coin, And that comes up what I just said. and
No,
she
but I
can't-
can tell,
she can't flip
I
the
think,
line.
I think Deb is leaning towards NEMC.
I gotta tell you, like I just said, I had this great conversation with Chris at Nemrick.
But you were
Guy-
waffling all the time.
Yes, I am. I would be happy with Nemrick if you want to go with Nemrick.
Okay.
I wanna know why our treasurer is so
What's the
favoring
treasurer
Nemrick.
thing?
I like Nemrick, and we already use it, and we have it, and we know it, and I just think it'd be a really.
Yeah, you're a
seamless-
routine
But it's
kind
gonna
of
be
girl.
invisible to everybody else around here because nobody else is using
It's not
this.
broken, right?
But it sounds like it's only on the
But it's
lister side.
It's only on the lister side, it doesn't affect
I
anybody
know,
else.
I know, but I
No,
have
she's
to- I like
giving her
Nemrick,
opinion.
and I like their customer service, they're
Oh,
always
yeah.
right there, I
So,
mean, we know what to expect in Nemrick, so there's no.
So you can vote against it.
That's the best thing they have going for them, their customer support.
They're
is
great.
Fantastic.
They're
Nemrick?
wonderful, yeah, they are, anytime you
When
need
I,
them.
when I get on the
I won't go
phone
into
with
the
Chris and I
dog
have one
report.
question.
Then,
it
because that
blossoms
customer
into-
service is not.
Yeah, what about
been
this
great.
other thing? He'll spend an hour on the telephone with me, even though it's supposed to be a
They
5-minute
have-
question.
So you're voting against
Can't
yourself.
argue with that.
You're arguing against
They
yourself.
And we don't
They
get
outsource.
charged anything
I know.
extra.
I called the question.
Okay, I call
Hold
it.
on, Aaron.
All those in favor of Nemrick being our, doing a town right of.
Hi.
All those in.
I support the treasurer.
Thank you.
Okay. All those in favor,
Is
please say aye. For Nemrick.
Hi.
Okay,
Yeah, she.
and I'm not voting for it.
You
So you
abstain?
got 4.
You abstain?
You abstaining?
No, I'm voting against it.
Okay.
Okay. 4 to 1. There you go.
Okay, we gotta vote this night in.
That's right.
I need it
Good
back.
thing about it. You're saving.
You're not gonna
Why
have
is
nightmares
this-
tonight, are you?
I kinda like to try the other thing,
You're not gonna have
Well,
nightmares
in 8
tonight,
years
are
we
you?
can.
cause I'm
I've had
adventurous.
nightmares
What's
the
that?
In 8
last
years
3
we can.
days.
It'll be cheaper in 8 years.
Well, like she
I was
said,
talking, I was talking to both
if
these
we
guys
want,
in
we
the
can
car.
switch
on the way
Yeah.
the
back.
year after the
Yeah,
replace,
right,
but it gets it done a year.
yeah. No, it's not gonna be, I know,
Year
a year later,
Yeah.
a year later. That's
Yep,
why
We
we
voted, it's
against it.
over. We move on. Mr.
We voted,
Okay.
and that's the way it is.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, so it's Nemrick,
Yes. the bond.
gotcha, a year later. Okay. Oh my gosh, that was easy. It was?
I thought we were gonna have to call Chris, asking to do a tiebreaker.
Okay, so now we gotta do the office painting and we have to go to executive session.
No. Can
What do you mean, no?
Well, can we do the budget first?
Oh, you
Oh,
wanna
wait,
do the
wait,
budget?
wait, you don't want the listeners to leave without doing the errors and omissions.
Was already done.
We already done that.
You were over there.
You were over there
Yeah.
slapping
You
away.
didn't even ask us, it's not gonna make any difference to the collection of taxes for the town, because we have a whole harmless. And it was only at $64.77.
Yeah.
Yes, it's already-
We already did it. We already
it's
signed it.
already
It's
done.
all done.
Done.
What?
What budget is on the agenda?
What budget?
Yeah.
Preliminary budget.
Preliminary town budget,
Uh-huh.
that's in our packet.
Where is that on the agenda?
Under town
It's right under the bullets.
Oh,
Town
okay.
administrator.
Oh, okay, okay.
We were gonna bump it up just so, cause
Yes.
Michelle's gotta go,
Uh-huh,
Okay.
if that's it.
uh-huh. It's not getting any darker.
Yeah.
No, it won't.
You'd probably like to get it today.
It might get lighter if I stay a little bit longer.
I might get supper for God's sake.
It might be break soon.
Yeah, no
The
kidding.
sun's gonna come
Yeah,
up.
no kidding. Okay, preliminary budget update.
All right,
Wanna do it?
let's do it. You all have a copy of it?
We do.
Okay,
Yeah,
so this is the first time I've done this.
okay.
This was the Gina thing before me.
Take your time.
So, Jen and I and Rosie have all been kind of collectively meeting and talking about this and went line by line. A lot of the numbers in the budget are the same.
Yeah.
Some are increased, some are decreased based on FY '24 and FY '25 actuals to date and the budgets of last year.
Could I have one of those?
You didn't get one?
This is the one that we're looking at?
Is there an extra? Yeah.
Thank you.
Highlighted-
Looks like this.
The one is highlighted yellow.
Oh, I got it. I'm looking wrong.
This is super preliminary.
Okay.
We're missing some stuff, some information,
Yeah,
but I wanted to give it to you guys to take a look
okay,
and look it over. Give me your thoughts and opinions. Doesn't have to be done right now,
okay.
I've been done with it this year.
but I'm still waiting on some information. It's still coming in. So very preliminary.
Would it be okay for me to note that the budget needs to be finalized prior to 5 PM on January 27th.
Yeah,
Because that's the statutory deadline.
yeah.
You guys had a couple of meetings between now and then.
Yeah.
So the numbers in red
Yeah.
on the right are ones that I'm still kind of working in.
Yeah.
On the, sorry, on the left. On the left and the red are ones I'm still working on,
Oh, in the
under
middle?
the, under the
Yeah.
description. Those aren't finalized. On the right, the red notations are the changes
Okay.
from the
Yeah.
past budget.
And are there any of these that you have particular questions in your mind about that you'd really like feedback from us
Or concerns?
Not yet.
Okay.
I could change them. As I work with this more. No, I mean, we went line by line. We're trying to give it our best overall look here. We did increase gravel in the highway, Seth.
Yeah, I wanted that.
Yeah,
done.
that's what Jen said. So we
Well,
increased that to
And the problem
150.
is that gravel keeps going up.
Yeah.
And so if you're getting less gravel, so we have to increase the budget.
Well, Guthrie gave us some numbers,
Yeah, I
but we
know.
even bumped it
He
up.
told me
even more.
today. I
Yeah,
met with
okay.
him this morning.
Okay. I'm hoping the budget won't be much more than like a 4-5% change in total, but we'll see.
Oh, you think the overall will
I'm
be,
hoping.
it'll be over 5%?
I'm hoping under.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I'm hoping under.
right.
But yeah, please review. Let me know what you guys think.
We're gonna have to do this every meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can put it at the beginning of the meeting,
Yes, please.
obviously, and we're meeting
Or
it.
you could zoom in.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, it's
We're also-
my Wi-Fi at home is not.
Oh, okay.
I live in the sticks.
Okay.
We're also gonna be meeting in January, about an hour early,
Oh, okay.
right?
I'm fine with that.
What day is it? January 6th.
In it at 5? Okay,
January
good.
6th.
5 or
Okay.
5:30.
Okay.
5, yeah, that's right.
You can't make it at 5?
It's hard.
Yeah.
Well, you'll see if you can make it a 5:30.
Well, I will if I have to, but I have a labor shortage in my place right now.
No.
5 o'clock is pretty early for me to stop, anyway. Okay.
We'll put you at the beginning of the agenda. You should run this.
It's fine. Lots of knowledge, lots of
Well, stuff
information.
has gone up.
Is that a phone or a bell? Must be phone.
All right, well, we better not, I mean, it's already 9:20.
All right.
As long as Michelle's here, can we just?
Oh, the
my- My
investments?
quick event.
Yeah, yeah, let's do that. The
Okay.
investment? Yeah.
Yes, I
let's
just
do
want
it.
to put this on the agenda. just
Town
to-
investment, yeah.
Right, just to give the
Yeah.
select board heads up. We could probably talk about it a little better than I can, but we had some issues with our broker, just communication issues. And I've been talking to Michelle because I'm trying to manage our investments, our T-bills, CDs. Better line of communication for investment when things become due. And I think it was pretty much ironed out and you're in a better place.
Yes, definitely.
We're using for broker dealing.
So on the
We're
money
using for broker
what
dealing.
kind of
Flag?
communication are you talking about?
Well, all the investments that we put into SB, those, I think it's called, we put that million in there. And we just want to make sure he's investing it the way we want to invest it.
So I didn't think there was any question on money. What's the
No,
money?
all the CDs that are in there.
All the,
We
okay,
just
you're
wanted
talking
to-
about the other CDs
Everything,
also.
everything.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
CDs, when they come due,
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Right, we just, well, I want to be a little more on top of it.
Yeah.
And Michelle felt it would be a more fruitful conversation if I attended the meeting. So we met in person, we met a week ago.
And we
or so,
hammered it out, yeah.
And I think it was, I had to bring up an issue with another organization that I managed their money for, in Turn Search. So we kind of piggybacked it, and I think we both left the meeting more confident that we will have more attention to our investments.
Yeah, and I
Okay.
talked with our auditor, Chad, and he said we can actually invest in different things that we didn't realize, like T-bills.
Oh, right, right.
T-bill.
So, yep,
Okay.
and so we're gonna talk with him about that.
Yes.
So is that taking money out of CDs to put in T-bill?
No,
No.
in other words,
General.
right now, CDs are FDIC insured up to $250,000.
Yeah.
T-bills are not insured.
Okay,
Okay. If T-bills default,
yeah,
we're all, the entire country's on the red line because that's the sovereign wealth of the country. T-bills are.
yeah,
So our auditor will allow us to buy T-bills, even though supposedly we can only buy something that was insured.
right, okay,
T-bills are not insured.
okay.
But he gave us the blessing to do it, so.
So the T-bill investment, is that a certain amount of money you have to put in there?
No, you can buy a T-bill for $1.
Okay, gotcha.
You know, I buy
No minimum.
T-bills. I buy T-bills, and you don't pay, right. Another
Can't get into it.
We just wanna get as much interest as we can.
No, I understand.
And T-bills,
I'm just doing this with my own education, so I know what's.
Well, I'll tell you, you don't pay Vermont state tax, but anyway, T-bills have been, the last year or so, earning more interest than a CD.
Yeah,
So we're trying to maximize our income for the town.
okay,
Just FYI,
yeah,
have this
well,
conversation.
sometimes I like to sit down with you,
Sure,
learn more about it.
I'll have,
At this hour of the night,
okay,
we just don't.
and this is not for public information.
Yeah,
Okay,
Well,
we just, no, your edification.
yeah,
Anyway,
right.
it was
But it was good, it was very good,
positive.
yeah, it was.
Just
I mean,
wanted-
we always just wanna make sure the town investments are invested in something safe.
Well, that's what he
That's why
said.
you call the auditor.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
The auditor did say that. He said, safety over everything.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Yeah,
T-bills are more safe than
Yeah.
CDs.
so,
That's always been the concern.
Okay,
Yep.
we're on it.
so we're
Okay.
good.
Perfect.
Safe driving.
Thanks.
Okay.
Thank you.
Hopefully it's not freezing rain. It's supposed to be.
I got winter tires,
Okay, good.
studs.
All right.
Thanks,
Go
guys.
slow.
See you later.
Take care, all right, thank you for sticking around.
Okay, so now we have to do the office painting, I guess?
Yep.
Or we wanna do that at the end? We got the town, we haven't done these EMFD.
We're not doing that.
discussion.
I thought you said you were taking that off.
Oh, we're taking that off, good,
That's what you said in the beginning of the meeting.
okay.
It was a while ago, we figured out.
Yeah, I guess I'm looking at this.
I just want to make sure you
You're right.
get it right in the minutes.
The town investments are done, the warrants we still have to do. Oh, we're getting there. So do you wanna go in the executive session to go get the office painting done?
Yes.
Yeah, there's not too many people here.
I move that we enter into executive session pursuant to 1 VSA section 313A1 to discuss bidders for office painting as premature general public knowledge will simply place our public body at a substantial disadvantage.
I'll second.
Okay, we are leaving executive session at 9:41. Okay. And should we move to the next agenda item?
No, aren't we gonna make them?
We need to make a motion on this.
We're gonna vote
We're
on
gonna
this.
make a motion on that?
Yeah.
Okay. On the,
I'll make a motion to hire
okay,
Bonnie,
Ingalls.
yes.
I second a motion to authorize the town administrator to sign the contract with Ingalls for the paint.
Got it.
I agree with whatever Carl said,
Do we have a second?
as usual.
Second.
No, I
Any further-
I made the motion, Carl seconded.
Second it. Any further discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay. All right. We still have warrants. Oh, we still have the town meeting ballot, the addition.
I'll be really quick.
Okay,
So, Middlesex has decided that they do not want the school ballots to be mailed out. So unless the school board can somehow go back to them and get them to reconsider, the school will not be mailing out ballots, okay?
Oh.
So that affects us in that we have a couple of choices. We can either A, tell people that we're mailing our ballots out anyway, and
yeah,
if they want the school ballot and the Central Vermont Career Center ballot, to call us and let us know. Or we can, and that way everybody gets a ballot for the town budget at least. Or the other option is to say, okay, school's not mailing out a ballot, we're not gonna mail out a ballot either, in order to keep things the same. So if you want ballots, call the clerk's office, we've got all three. It doesn't matter to me which way you do it,
Okay,
but those are the two choices. We have money in the budget to do it. It's gonna cost about $3,500 if we wanna mail out ballots.
yeah. Okay, so the option one is to mail out our ballots, like we did last year, but it will not have the school ballot in there.
It will not have a school ballot or a Central Vermont Career Center ballot, so that means that I will be mailing again to the same people.
If they want.
If they want it.
If they want it.
Why wouldn't we just include the school ballot?
I'm not allowed to.
We're not allowed to.
There's one option.
Because Middlesex voted
According
against
to
it.
the school's charter, every single sending school select board has to approve the mailing of all ballots.
In unity.
And if one says no, the rest say no. And the reason that Middlesex said no is because they had a lot of confusion. Well, first of all, they're upset with the school district because they did send out ballots for their regular vote, but then for the revote, they did not.
Oh, whoops.
Okay, that's the biggest crux of the matter there. The second reason is that there just gets to be a little bit of confusion for voters. Which ballot do I have? Which ballot do I need? I'm not sure I have everything. What do I do?
Oh.
So the recommendation from the Middlesex clerk to her board was to not mail ballots. I personally have,
To not mail their town ballot.
not mail their town ballots, that
Okay.
if anybody wants them, we go back to the old way, like before COVID, when if you wanted an absentee ballot, you called and you got everything.
Yeah. Got it.
And, you
Okay.
know, that's up to them. It matters not to me, I do what you tell me.
Okay, I am for mailing our ballots to the voters.
Absolutely.
Because you get more participation.
We don't have to have this conversation.
Well, I'm just saying.
So if we mail our ballots to the voters, then how many people will mail that in and say, I'm not gonna bother to go in and vote on the school budget or the career center budget?
That's not our problem. We're getting, I believe we'll have better participation on our side of it. The school budget thing, oh well.
We will have better participation, I agree, on the municipal
Yeah.
voting. And if it depresses the vote on the school budget
Oh, it definitely will. Of
from
course it
East
will.
Montpelier, then our folks are getting, less of a say, whether that budget passes
Well,
or
that's
not.
up to them.
If I could interject a
Yeah.
little bit, it's been what I've seen
Yeah.
is that although the in-person voting, what I've seen is that when people know that there's a ballot that's not included, and I'm happy to have L. Brown or whoever print a little insert saying, call the town clerk's office now to have these two ballots mailed to you.
Right.
I think that would alleviate the problem quite a bit. We're also talking about it being town meeting where people historically know that they need to go to the town, come to the school to vote. I don't think that it's gonna depress the school vote.
That notice would be very helpful.
We also have,
I agree.
I'm fine with doing lots of outreach, but East Montpelier voters are pretty savvy. I don't get the kinds of questions that Middlesex gets.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't, folks want to vote here, and they'll do what they need to do to vote here. Whereas I think that possibly there's a little, it's a different scenario in a different town.
Okay.
I think that's how we're gonna do it.
Okay.
So, your argument could be interpreted a couple different ways. It could be interpreted that we don't mail ballots out at all because you feel East Montpelier is gonna put enough effort into going to the polls because it's town meeting. But I think our experience has been that if we mail
Our
ballots to
experience
people, they do
participation.
participate more.
Yeah.
So that's all I can say.
There's so many people today who do not get town meeting day off
Right.
from their jobs,
Yeah.
period.
And they will be more likely to vote if the ballot is right there.
That's right.
That's right. So,
By factors.
what's that?
By factors.
By factors.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Yeah, no one's arguing against that.
Yeah. So when you're talking about depressing the school vote, that may happen.
Right.
Really.
It will.
I think it will. Because they Yeah, they will, it will.
But
I
if you
think
put a
I'm gonna be
notice in, I
spending-
think
I think
Rosie's
that-
right, I think people
I think that
will,
I'm gonna be spending a little bit more on postage because I'll be sending out another mailing to people, but that's okay.
Yeah,
We'll buy the stamps. But
All right.
anyway, if you folks have a motion,
Send Middlesex the bill for the extra postage.
she'll be gone by then.
I
She's
am
retiring.
shocked at that decision
Yeah.
from Middlesex.
And Roni wants to keep
Where it
this.
goes. Okay, so we need to make the motion for mailing out our ballots?
Did someone make the
Yeah,
motion?
I would ask that you suggest that we mail to all active, not challenged voters, please.
So I move to authorize the town clerk to mail municipal ballots to all active, non-challenged voters for the March elections. Is that okay?
Yep.
Any further discussion?
with the note.
With an insert.
With a note,
Yeah.
with a note, yeah. Any further discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. The ayes have it.
And I thank you for taking it up tonight because our deadline for the annual report, which everybody reads, is like in 3 weeks. It's before you meet.
You do a fabulous job with this. You do a fabulous job with everything. You're so on top of this. It's wonderful. Thank you.
Today, anyway.
Okay, here are the warrants. And meanwhile, we are preparing ourselves to listen to the town administrator report.
So as far as the Hudson House, 2812 Route 2, we have Chase and Chase doing the survey to be completed by January 15th. And then we plan to list it. Sanders Circle culvert replacement, so it's completed and it's drivable.
Yeah.
And there's pictures online.
Yeah. It's beautiful.
So we're excited about that.
Sure.
And then there is a question of whether having the engineer do a final site test. So to give them the go-ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. We have the energy grant, the $85,000 grant called DREAM. We need to meet as the next step in order to discuss subcontracts. So that will be our next step. For the annual report, the select board needs to determine what they want to focus on.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't know if you want to do that now or.
Not right now.
Why not?
I'm thinking supper.
Me too.
But thanks for the heads up.
Probably gonna get road recovery and all that kind of stuff. We'll worry about that later, but that's gonna be.
Well, we're gonna have to mention, you know,
Sure,
changes
a
in
lot of stuff. That's
personnel
good.
and
Yeah.
there's a lot of little things. You know, work we've done here and there, the town garage, that's a big, huge thing.
Jen, what we've had in the past, I think, is Bruce has drafted some points.
Oh, no, Bruce wrote the letter.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Bruce-
yeah,
Bruce wrote it.
yeah.
Last year Gina
And then
wrote the
Gina-
letter.
Yeah, yeah.
This
But-
year Jen's gonna write the
I was
letter.
gonna
Right, but in
We hope.
terms of what goes into the letter.
Oh, yeah, they
Bruce-
did all
Bruce
of
has
it.
Drafted the points,
Yeah.
and then
And we
reviewed that.
edited it a little bit.
Yeah.
Oh, we could have
So
put
see,
this
that's
in
the
there.
expectation. That's why I had her ask that question. I wanted to make sure she was aware of what was expected of her.
Yeah.
Because the town reports deadline is like the 9th,
Mm-hmm.
which is, I think, the same day as your next meeting.
No, it's 6th of the meeting.
Okay.
January 9th is tax sale.
Yeah, it's also the day that Deb has given us for the annual report.
It's coming up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like 3 weeks.
Okay.
So did you make some notes, Jen, of all the things we just talked about?
Yep, I got it.
Okay.
So January 9th is our
Yeah.
tax sale, a reminder 10 a.m.
Yeah,
Town garage RFP for construction management, the bids are due December 30th by 4 p.m. And then we have a separate RFP for the commissioning agent, and that's due, the bids are due December 23rd by 4 p.m. So, the town garage special meeting, in order to interview the bidders, will be January 10th, which is a Friday, 1 p.m. to 4 p.m.
oh boy.
We also have Rich Curtis's son is gonna be parking his tractor trailer at the park and ride for 10 days.
During the holidays.
During the holiday.
He called to ask if it was okay, and I'm like, it's a public parking ride. So if you see a tractor trailer there for
taking up all the parking spots because it'll be parked across?
Yeah, that's been used for commercial parking in the past, and we've said, no, you can't do that.
He just wants to park it there, just to leave it
The
there.
U-Haul place
It's
apparently.
because he's driving it
Parking
here so he can stay
Oh.
with his family up the hill.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's gonna take
How long is it gonna be there?
10 days.
Oh, it's a
Yeah.
tractor trailer, right?
So how many parking spots is that?
That's a lot.
74 feet.
How many?
74 feet.
Right, there's a lot of parking spots.
Yeah.
That's like 8 parking spots. What are they, 10-foot parking spots?
I don't know.
10, no more.
Seems
than
like
that.
if
Could be
it was
8
on one
actually.
end or the other, people could get around it.
Yeah.
I haven't ever seen that parking right that busy.
Mm.
It's fairly busy actually. I've seen it fairly
It
full.
depends.
What's that?
Wa-
Yeah, I thought
Washington
the whole thing
Electric's
overflowed
over
the
there.
other night and I was shocked.
Huh.
There's no other
It's
place.
the
I mean, I'll
Fox,
probably
the
work.
Fox Market Group.
What's that?
Fox Market. What I forgot to tell you.
They don't have it.
The
Extra
clerk's office and the treasurer's office will be closed after noon next Tuesday.
You can't park over by the gravel, can you? By our town gravel pile?
You
Probably
tell,
could,
if you wanted to do that, but, you know, the guys are gonna be working in there too, so do you really want them to have to go around something?
There's a lot of parking spots over there, please. I don't know.
So anyway, the
I
clerk's
guess we can
office-
just see, right?
Where else is he gonna put it? Anyway,
Yeah, he can park it there and we'll just see how it works.
The
out.
clerk's office and the treasurer's office are both gonna be closed next week from Tuesday at noon for the rest of the week. We're taking
Okay.
vacation time, voting holidays, all that good stuff. The only day that the clerk's office will be closed the following week is the holiday of New Year's Day.
Okay. Alright,
Is that the way it works? That they just
well,
make
they're
that
gonna,
decision?
Christmas is
Well, we have
Wednesday.
vacation, yeah,
Yeah.
Christmas is Wednesday,
Yeah.
so we have vacation time. I've got the floating holiday from November 11th that I haven't used yet.
Yeah,
Right, I'm just
Right.
wondering if the staff comes to us to request to close the office, or whether they just announce closing the office.
We asked Jen if it was okay.
and she said it was alright.
Yeah, okay.
It's usually a pretty slow time, Carl,
Yeah,
I go with the Gen Authority.
and people usually know how to find me if they
That's a
need me,
slippery slope.
because I get calls at home, so.
Okay,
yeah.
that'll
Makes
work.
sense.
Thank you for letting us know when you're not gonna be here.
Yeah, it's weird, schools go, because kids go back to school just Thursday and Friday next week.
They do?
They do.
No, they
On
don't.
the following, week, it'd be right after New Year's Day.
Oh, the second and third.
Second and third, they go back to school.
You gotta be kidding.
I looked on the school calendar and I'm already, I think I'm signed up for a sub spot. It's weird. I looked on the calendar. Anyway,
Alright, so it looks like we gotta get the select board letter together by our next meeting,
Yeah,
January 6th.
yep.
I can come down and, you know, talk to you if you're thinking of, you wanna start it the next few days. But you're not gonna be around after Tuesday, right?
Well, I don't know.
Yeah,
Are you gonna be quietly working in the back?
no.
Or noisily working in the back? So you'll be gone from Wednesday on?
Wednesday's Christmas, right?
Yeah, Wednesday's Christmas.
Yeah,
Thursday, Friday, Saturday,
yeah.
Sunday.
I was planning to take the Thursday and Friday, but I can work remote, like.
No, it doesn't matter. I'm just wondering when you're around, so we can just get this, because I'm gonna be gone from the 30th to the 5th. So, not that I matter that much, but I will be here for that meeting on the 6th. Okay. Go ahead.
what else we have to do on this, on the agenda, sir?
Oh, I think that's it.
So that.
Do they need a local-
With the bidders, we're gonna have to be here, correct?
Yeah, it's a special meeting, so they're gonna have 2 or 3 of the best ones and then
Okay.
decide for the construction management only,
Okay.
so.
That's on the 30th?
Friday.
January 10th.
Oh, it's due then,
1 to
yeah.
4.
January
so-
10th, right?
Yeah,
January.
you'll send us like a reminder, I mean, if I'm not doing anything, I might.
Yeah.
probably do it.
Yeah, I guess I can make it. I hate doing it, in the middle of the day.
Why, you do anything during the day?
Like running all day. But, whatever. Okay, so there is also a meeting on this Friday at 8 o'clock with, David, right?
David Bright.
Then
No.
what?
The construction firm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's architects.
Yeah.
On Friday,
At
8
8
o'clock.
a.m.
8 o'clock, yeah.
Yeah.
But that's not a select board meeting.
Now that I have.
No, it's not, but I was just
Oh,
saying,
that's
I haven't
good.
been to one of those meetings yet, I gotta
Okay.
try to go on Friday,
Okay.
yeah.
She sent me the invite with no link.
Oh, really?
So when I got on, I got on for 5 minutes.
But you didn't really attend.
I didn't really.
Right.
Was it interesting?
No, really, not the last 5 minutes.
Okay, just checking.
Well, I got a report from Guthrie this morning, but it wasn't much new, it was just, the drilling of the well, right? They wanna drill a well, experimental well or something, and it wasn't, and then talking about these bids for the construction management.
Yeah, and tomorrow the questions need to be compiled and provided to the vendors, the questions and answers. That's the next thing.
Is David Roy working on that?
So,
Who's working on that? Or is it Mark
I
Blanchard?
think
or
it's
what?
falling on my lap. So,
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, you gotta do the questions?
Well, no, they're answering it, but I'm
Oh.
compiling the list of
Oh, yeah, you're
vendors,
compiling the
and
answers.
then getting all the questions and then getting
Yeah.
the answers and then
Yeah.
emailing the vendors.
Yeah,
That's on you.
Yeah.
but you didn't generate the questions originally.
No, the vendors do.
Yeah.
And you didn't generate the answers.
No,
No,
the
right.
engineers
But she's just compiling
Yeah.
it together, it seems
Right.
like. Yeah,
keeping it moving. you know.
keep it moving, yeah.
Yeah, that's
All
right.
right,
Good.
yeah. Okay, I can't think of anything else.
Scott, yeah.
Motion to adjourn.
Oh,
You don't have to.
Do we have a
vote.
second
You
on
don't
that?
have to vote yes.
We have a second.
oh, we have a second?
But you don't have to vote for it.
I'm getting hungry.
Yeah, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
I'm abstaining.
That's all right, you lost.
That's okay.
I'll vote.